wishy-washy how it's done. This is how it's been done. But no, hand up, I had no idea what was going on. The confusion got to me as well.
Yeah. So, ultimately at the end, it didn't really matter in the outcome of the game. And Toronto gets a much needed win. You gain some ground on a few teams last night. When you've got teams playing each other, you're only going to gain ground on one of them. In an ideal world, Texas would be the team that would lose, right? But Texas, they're taking on the Angels right now. Pretty hard. They got a 4-game set against the Angels. And that's the team right now, Texas, who has the final wild card. Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, they're all ahead. Now, the Jays have made one step. They've moved a half a game ahead of the Seattle Mariners right now. Now, Seattle does have a game in hand. So, at worst, I guess they're tied with them. You got Baltimore. They're a half game up on Toronto. Cleveland's a game and a half. Detroit is 2 games up. Same with Minnesota. So they're going to have to pass all those teams before they even really think about Texas. But so today I went through and I looked at those 7 teams, Texas, Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, Toronto, and Seattle, and looked at their remaining skeds. And they're fairly even, except, who has the easiest sked? Cleveland. Because only 25 of their remaining games are against playoff teams or teams in the playoff race, like Minnesota. So you look at Cleveland, they've got Detroit and San Diego coming up next. But then they go the Giants, the Rockies, the Angels, and the Royals. 4 consecutive series against some pretty bad teams. So that's advantage for sure for Cleveland, because they only play 25 games against the top teams. Seattle has 26 games because they've got the Athletics. They play the Rockies. They play the Angels multiple times. Also, Texas, who's in the wild card spot, they have an easy sked. And that might be the biggest challenge. So right now, they got the Angels. Then they play the Athletics. Then they play Washington. Then they play the Athletics again. Oh, sorry, the Angels again. So they go Angels, Athletics, Nationals, and the Angels. Then they have a tougher sked after that, where you got the White Sox and Milwaukee and Tampa Bay and Seattle and Arizona and Boston and Toronto, all them. But for the next, almost the rest of this month, well, really, I guess the next 12 games, they've got a pretty easy sked. Meanwhile, in those same 12 games, this is who Toronto plays. Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, New York. At home to Boston and the Yankees, in Tampa, in New York. It's pretty tough. So these next probably 2 weeks, the Jays are going to have to play very well, and they're going to have to hope that Texas lays a few eggs against bottom feeder teams. Otherwise, they could be out of it. But, hey, Sonny Gray was 14-2 before yesterday. And now you got Dylan Cease going on that. Then you got Soriano. You could maybe win the first 3 games of this series. Maybe. Obviously, you got to play well. And Boston has been playing pretty well. But beating Sonny Gray, that was huge for the Jays last night. A monumental win for them. So we'll see where it goes from there. Terry Ryan will be by as well. So busy show. Looking forward to it. Lots of talk as always. We'll take your thoughts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. It's where you can text us, get your thoughts on MLB. You got CFL, NFL, JJ McCarthy. I don't think anybody's really surprised by this. Are they? That Kyler Murray beat him out? And maybe you know what? Maybe it was the fact that he beat him out so quickly to be the starting quarterback. Maybe that's it. But I'm not hugely surprised that Kyler Murray, who has way more experience and way better numbers so far in his career, is going to be the starting quarterback for Minnesota. And I don't think this is the end of the world for JJ McCarthy either, Con. I think there's such a rush of people who think you got to get in there right away. You can look at lots of guys, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, and others who it took a while, Con, to develop and understand the league. So I don't think this is a write-off for JJ McCarthy. I probably think it's the right move for Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Minnesota would have brought in Kyler Murray if they didn't expect this was a real possibility. He was kind of that big name free agent when he was released by the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm with you. I mean, you don't have to look very far if you're in Minnesota to realize that Sam Darnold went right through there. Daniel Jones was there for a little while. Like, if you are JJ McCarthy, you can probably sit back and say, I'm just 23 years old. I've seen this before. I've seen it happen. And, if to me, like, if they were ready to roll with JJ, they never would have brought in Kyler. They would have had Carson Wentz as the backup and just gone forward with him. So I don't think it's a surprise at all. It makes sense. Probably good news for fantasy owners that might want to go with Addison and Jefferson, maybe even Hawkinson. But yeah, he's still 23. He's young. He could follow in the footsteps of Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. There's kind of the few and far in between now at this point, but I don't think it's a big deal. As long as he does this the right way and, really locks in here and tries to absorb as much as he can, because his head coach has a resume of doing this with a lot of players.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I'm intrigued to see what Kyler Murray can do in Minnesota. Like, okay, McCarthy's going to sit now. You can always learn from veteran quarterbacks. You have different skill sets and everything like that. But what's your expectation of Murray?
That's the question. How much did he buy in? There's kind of the ongoing joke, when he's playing video games, he kind of falls off a little bit. But we've seen good years from him. We've seen him, throw for over 3,500 passing yards and throw a lot of touchdown passes. He's not going to have a better receiver duo, right? He's got really good targets here. I like it. And, still kind of a younger guy. He's still got that athleticism to move around in the pocket if need be. I think it's better. I think the problem becomes that division is very tough. The Bears are a good team. The Packers are a good team. And the Detroit Lions, had a lot of injuries last year. If they stay healthy, they're going to bounce back. So, they could have a good season, still go 2-4 in their division and finish last place. That's the problem for the Vikings, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, what do you think the chances are that they would just keep the secondary intact and put somebody else in at the Sam linebacker position? Well, we're going to talk to Ed about that, but I do think that that's an option. I don't think it's a guarantee that they go. I think they might try a few guys. Obviously, that KJ can move there if they need him to, but they've got options, right? It's a tough hole to fill. I'll say that. It's a big hole to fill for Kenny Logan, but they have options if they want to. King is a guy that I think is an option for them if they want, but we'll see. And we'll talk to Coach Killam about that more tomorrow. Today was just a walkthrough, so you're not going to get any sort of information from it today, but we'll find out a little bit tomorrow on the show. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Ed Hervey will join us, and we'll kind of give a summary of the first half of the season from the Elks GM. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection.
And don't forget about our employee pricing.
Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Yeah, it's me again.
And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. LeadingEdgePhysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Kickoff is coming August 15th. Elks, Argos at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Family Day presented by Goodwill Industries of Alberta. Youth 17 and under get in free for an early afternoon contest. Conditions apply. Tickets and info at goelks.com/tickets.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks, funders for your team or charity at On the Rocks. They'll make custom tickets for you and your event that includes no line cover and one drink for your event. You keep the profits. Learn more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.220, welcome back. Tuesday afternoon, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, you can get in the action tonight if you like it. You always check out the Jason Gregor Show Odds Boost specials for you. We have a few, some early CFL ones for the upcoming week of CFL games. We also have the Halley triple play tonight. Dodgers, Diamondback, and Jays all winning. And then we have a little bit of a player fun prop on the Blue Jays. So with Cease and Jimenez, Clement. So you can check that out at playalberta.ca. Hey, it's time now to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. And, man, it is August 11th. Training camps are right around the corner in minor hockey. You want to get the kids ready? Got Saints camp. I got a few spots left from the 24th to the 28th of August for U9, U11, U13, U15. You can register them at sgsaints.ca. Hey, as we are joined by the general manager of the Green and Gold, Edmonton Elks, Ed Hervey, joined us once again. Ed, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Jason?
I'm good. I'm good. So, Ed, I don't know how you break it down. Like, I know obviously you look at every game, but do you break the season into like thirds or halves? Kind of, do you have a game plan or something like that? Like, do you do a half point analysis of your team?
Yeah, we break it into our season internally in thirds, right? Every 6 games. And then obviously you get to the halfway point and there's an assessment, right? Obviously, to see where you're at and where you can improve, but it's a continuous improvement and constant conversation. But at the halfway point, we're at a stage where, we're in a position, our goal is right in front of us, and the things that we expect from our team, are within reach. So, but as far as like a deep dive, no, we would have that. We would have that 3 games ago going into the second third, because you try to handle the thirds with minimal interruption as possible.
Okay. I guess you look at it, 6-3. Heck, if you looked at the first 6, or 5-1, you're pretty happy about that. No question. But you look at your team, you want it to be an improved team, Ed, and I think it's safe to say you have the toughest part of your schedule on paper and matchup wise. If you look at, long week, short week, all those sorts of things, consecutive games without a bye, is behind you. How much do you factor that in when you look at it? Like, strength of schedule, but, travel and rest days and all that, here till the end of the season, it's a little bit more favorable.
I never get into the strength of schedule in the CFL because we all play one another, right? Like it's a round robin type season, because you go to every venue, everyone comes here at least once, and then injuries play a big part in where your season is. Where when you look at the schedule, someone would say, "Oh, that's a game that should be a win," or you're gonna have a tough time with that game. Teams are constantly improving, and teams have injuries that they have to overcome. There's no gimme games in our league. You just have to take the games as they come, prepare for them as we've always done, go out there and execute and play hard and play to win. And this team has learned many lessons over the last 2 seasons. We're playing together, and this year they've enjoyed some early success, we'll call it, but we're so far away from the goal. We're at the point of the season now where we're in the stretch of the season where you position yourselves, right? You got to get the early points to give yourself an opportunity, but now there's opportunities for position, right? Where are you going to position yourself? And you got to win every game and win as many games as you can. And everyone is fighting for the same cause, trying to punch a ticket to the postseason, and that's our objective of the grand scheme. But we definitely realize we have Toronto this week, and we have to take care of that, and that's the mission in front of us as a team.
Ed, I remember talking to you in training camp, and you were just like, "Man, I just want to get through it healthy." And you had a few bumps and bruises, and the season's coming. It's almost like every week, oh my goodness, an O-lineman or a linebacker almost every week is getting injured, and it happened again with Kenny Logan. What can you give us an update on how long you think he'll be out, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to have trouble playing this week, but I don't think he's going to be out as long as you would think. I think we come out of the bye, there's a great possibility that he could be available to us. Our hope is that he's back with us for Calgary, the Labor Day game. But these things take time to heal. We're optimistic with respect to Kenny's health, but it could have been worse. I think for us, that's the positive, that it could have gone a lot worse for us. But luckily for us, there's a chance, there's a strong chance that we'll have him after the bye. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, well, he's such a unique player, and that position is a tough one. Obviously, you got to be part linebacker, part defensive back, kind of mixed in. I know that you communicate with the coaching staff and everything. Do you know yet who you plan? Like, I know KJ played there in the game. Was that the one you'd look at, or do you look at some other options to not disrupt your secondary?
Well, that part there is, as you know, we got to keep that under wraps. We have options within the group, and I trust JC and his staff to make the right choice. With respect to who's lines up there. We have some young players looking at itching for an opportunity, and there's also a chance to move some guys around and give us a chance with the experience that we have, but without giving anything away. I think over the next couple of days we'll have a chance to see who lines up where, and gives us a chance to really see who can do what. And hey, next man up has always been the thing here, and we're not afraid to play our young guys and give our young guys opportunities. So it's going to be exciting for the next couple of days to kind of see where that goes. But we're going to line up and play and play the best player out there.
Ed, 6-3 is, hey, you know what? You definitely are not going to be too upset about it. Of course, you want to win every game, and I'm sure that the Montreal game in the second half didn't go the way the organization wanted. But overall, when you take a step back from an organization that has kind of been down in the dumps, record-wise and everything, and when you and Chris Morris came in, you obviously had to turn a lot of things around. It never happens in one season, but here in year two, lots of things are trending in the right direction. When you look at the character of the people you brought in, you look at the execution on the field, crowds are coming back, a lot of things kind of rolling the direction you would like. I want to give me your thoughts on the offense overall through 9 games and what you've liked about it as a GM and maybe some areas that you think the team's going to improve on.
I think that the offense group is alone would tell you that they understand that they have things to work on, right? It's a continuous build. I think offensively, I like the way the offense functions. They have the ability to move the ball. They find ways to get out of jams. The first down run offense can, kind of is sometimes hit and miss, but for the most part, has improved from last year. I think, and as far as the receiving core and the passing game, has shown flashes that it can keep us in games and win us games. The O-line has improved. I just think that if there's, when you look at areas, I think, we all understand internally, once we improve our red zone offense and we can become more consistent there, we're going to be really tough to beat. Moving the ball is not necessarily the issue as much as when we get down there, but it's not something that we shy away from in here inside the building. It's not something that the coaches and Mark and myself haven't discussed and at length. But when you get down there, this is just an area, because the other teams are it's tighter field, and they're not just going to lay down and give it to you, but. The positive from that is that it's an area that we all know that can be improved, and we have a lot of time to do that. In every game, there's an opportunity to take steps towards that. So I think if we can get that sorted out, I think offensively, skies could be the limit for this group.
And it definitely is an issue, and it's not just one thing; it's different things at different times. I think for sure. I know, Ed, that you as a GM, you let the coaches coach, but I'm sure you have input. Justin Rankin got off to a great start, had a few slow weeks. Last week, anytime he touched the ball, he was great, 8.9 yards per carry, but he only had 7 touches. We had Rick Walters on the show yesterday, and he believes that players over plays. And you know what? You got to find a way to get certain players the ball. Rankin, I think, would be one of those guys. How's that conversation go? Is that just the coaching staff themselves? When, if any, would you ever have input on the amount of touches or plays certain key playmakers are having?
I don't get into the play design and all that stuff. Like that's what those guys are paid to do and design plays and stuff. The reality in our building is that we just say let's make certain that we can get the ball to our playmakers. That is a philosophy that we all share in here, and that is something that I believe. I just believe that players make plays work. Right? There are no lines on the paper that are great plays unless you have great players that can execute it. And that's kind of it. Where when you have a player like Justin Rankin, of course, you want to see him get the ball as much as possible. But in the game flow and the coordinators and all these guys, they make the coaches make their they're calling plays as the game goes. I don't know what they're feeling and what they're feeling in the moment of the game, right? But at the end of the game, when you see Rankin touches the ball 7 times or 6 times, whatever the number is, for a great player, one could argue is that enough carries or enough touches? And if he's your best playmaker, the other teams are getting the ball to their playmakers and finding ways to do it. So that would be an area where, if the opportunity for us to improve, getting Rankin the ball more, it would be something that absolutely we would want to look at and should look at.
Ed Hervey joins us. Ed, we got your thoughts on the offense. Give me your thoughts overall on the defense through the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think the defense has, from last year to this year, really picked up. Just the opportunity to work together. They've had a bit of an advantage from over the offense because of the changes on the offensive side from this offseason, where the defense, for the most part, stayed together, with the exception of a few players being added in, like Malik Carney. And, you look at that and you say, well, there's the opportunity to improve there. But, they've been lights out at times, and then, there's been times where, they've had to hold on. But, this is a defense that's turning the ball over. They seem very much in sync with one another back there. And they're doing it with guys, banged up as we have been throughout the season with different guys. You guys are plugging in and playing. Really happy with where DJ Jabome has gone from playing and getting his opportunity to get his reps to Blanco. It's proven to be arguably our best linebacker back there, best player in some respect. And just really happy with where the defense has gone, because they've kept us in some games, they've won us some games, and we know that they're only going to get better, and they've done a fantastic job. And again, there's so much more that they can work on, and so much to build on. With 9 games left, and they've had a chance to see teams, it's just going to be fun to watch them continue to grow, and just looking forward to seeing the outcome of them.
Ed Hervey joins us. Blanchard, on your special teams, kicking the ball has been fantastic. Now I know special teams, the return game is a tough one, to evaluate it, especially, in real time. And there's one missed assignment here or there. When you look at the return game overall, maybe even your cover teams overall, how would you assess your special teams?
I think the special teams, they've done it's been inconsistent up and down, but they've had good moments and they've had some tough. But it's kind of easy to look at some of the the moments that haven't been great, and kind of cast a light on that and say that teams is having problems. But I believe that again, it's a continuous work. The problem, there's a lot of young guys playing special teams for the first time on a full-time basis this year, and they're getting used to it. We're still a young team learning to play that that phase of the game, and the special teams it isn't just you put on the hat and you go out there and you're able to do it. There's a lot that goes into special teams as well, and I have no question and no doubt that the special teams is going to pick up and continue to pick up and become more consistent, because we need that phase to be to improve, to be, an elite team, to remain an elite team if, people are considering us that. But the level that we're trying to get to, special teams has to, be in a position where they help us win games and not be in a position where we have to make up for, mistakes that are made on that side of the ball.
What about some of the injuries for your team? Some guys, like we know some guys are done. When you look at a guy like Coulter Woodmansey, Ed, do you kind of? I know he's been back running a little bit. How far away is he from returning to the line?
I think that Coulter is, after the bye, he's probably week to week from this point where, we see him running, we see the things he's doing. It's just a matter of having him practice with the group, practice with the offense. We'll say after the bye, we'll start to, have a great chance of seeing him come back. I think, just in all fairness, we expect him to be back after the bye and practicing with the team. And I know he's chomping at the bit to get back into action. But our objective and main goal is to, especially from the medical staff, is to ensure that when he does come back, that it's safe for him to come back. We're not rushing him back for the sake of, we have to have him out there because we're in dire need. We want to make certain that when he does come back, that he finishes strong for us and allows the offense to improve. And we believe that when he comes back, that's just another player that improves our football team, but specifically the offense and the offensive line.
Yeah, well, you've had so many injuries. Like your offensive line basically had your three interior guys out at one point this season. Your linebacking core has had, you're down to kind of your third string middle linebacker, and it was a rookie, and Jabomi's come in and he's played very well. Mogensen played well when he was in, and now you finally got Nick Anderson back. You lose Kenny Adams for a few weeks, which isn't great. But overall, Ed, you look at your team and maybe what's impressed you most? I know you wanted the team to take a step forward. Is there one area that you feel as a group collectively they've really taken an important step forward through the first half of this season?
Yeah, absolutely. This team doesn't quit. This team has learned not only to play together, but support one another. And what I mean by support is through the adversities of games. When they're down, when some things aren't going our way, or when things are good, or an individual player has a tough play, like the way that this team rallies around one another. This is, again, that continuity and consistency of the roster, which allows the players to get to know one another, and they can depend on one another and challenge one another. I think the biggest part has just been that part, and then also the young players coming in, stepping in, and stepping up when guys are banged up or out of the lineup for an extended period of time. The depth of the roster and the guys who have come in and played and their preparedness to go in and play has just been something that, you don't really hear about it and you won't read about it. But, we all have injuries league-wide. But, we won't make excuses in our building for injured players being out. That's for a reason why we can't be successful. We believe in the guys that we have in our room, and those players, those young players, have stepped up and allowed us to have a chance to be successful and at least be in a position to where we can talk playoffs around here. We can talk about improvement in Edmonton. We can talk about being competitive and competing game in and game out here in the city. So, there's a lot of football left. We understand, and we acknowledge that. But there's so many positives within this roster and within what we're doing here that I just want to make it a note to say, like, we feel like we're in a good place with an opportunity to grow, and that's all because of the guys that we have here, Mark and his coaching staff, our personnel staff, and all those who are surrounding us that are, providing us the support that allows us to be successful and do our jobs and with little to no distraction.
Ed, your team has put themselves in a good spot here, 6-3 at the midway point, tied with Saskatchewan. some people don't like to talk about it. Others like, damn well, we'll talk about it. We think it's great. Does a home playoff date, is that something that's discussed internally with the coaching staff, with the players?
No, we talk about the game that's in front of us, right? Like the game that's in front of us is Toronto, right? We won't get ahead of ourselves. Home playoffs and all those things are conversations for, people on the outside, maybe, business side to talk about stuff, and you got to, preparing for those things. But we're so far away from any of that stuff. All we talk about is the opponent that's coming up and being where our feet are. And right now our feet are locked in with our eyes focused on the Argonauts coming into our house. And, our objective is to take care of that, focus on that game, and then whatever comes after that, we'll locate that. But, all the other stuff is just, we're just not there yet. We just got to stay focused because, we haven't arrived regardless of this record and the positive energy and everything that's going on. We understand that there's a lot of football left. And, we're just going to stay focused on the task at hand and continue to work hard and build and make the city proud of this football team.
Well, Ed's been a very successful first half of the season. You start the second half at home on a Saturday at 1 p.m. Hopefully be a good crowd and an opportunity for the Elks to get back on the winning track. Best of luck, continued success, and we'll see you down at practice field this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That is Ed Hervey, the GM of the 6-3 Edmonton. Pretty good rundown, I thought. Good news about Coulter Woodmansey. That's a massive addition. If you can get him back at maybe as early as Labor Day, right? The fact that Kenny Logan, I think I call him Adams, but Kenny Logan Jr. will only miss 2 weeks, which is what I said yesterday. So that's good news for Edmonton. And if you could, they've yet to play a game fully healthy this year. But if you can start to get some players back, that will help a lot, right? Like, still haven't seen Robustelli yet this season, right? They were pretty big body, 6'3", 220. Like that's a big weapon that they just have never had in their receiving core this year. All right, I think one player on special teams, Cons and Dex, I'll get both of your thoughts on this, but honestly think Ateva Mwaga Clements, his loss hasn't been talked about that much. He's an outstanding special teams player, and I think that's a pretty big blow.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and I would, off air, just saying, like, the special teams hasn't really been great. And talking coverage, I mean, we've seen big returns going back the other way at crucial times in the games. And then, for the Elks, especially, they had fine. It hasn't been, like, detrimental to the team, but they haven't got that big return going the other way. So, yeah, I mean, hey, one key 3 special team guy who can get out there and do a lot of different things. It's a big loss, and, yeah, it doesn't get talked about, but good punt, flips field position, a good return can do the same thing. And it feels like right now the Elks aren't getting that enough, despite having a great kicker and a great punter.
Yeah, they're I'm not like, he can bomb the ball. Jake, his directional punting can still work on a little bit at times, but yeah, like, hey, if you're pinned deep in your own zone, he's got the leg to just air it out for you. But sometimes I wonder if it's too far, because that spreads out the cover team. There's always that fine balance we've done. I remember talking to a special team coach. Sometimes you don't want your punter to out punt your own cover team.
I mean, I always thought that with Hugh O'Neill. Bombed it, but by the time the returner caught it, there was like 15 yards of open field.
Yeah.
His gunners couldn't get down fast enough. So that is a real concern, yes.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got some stats of the day for you, some doozies and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
call Legacy. call legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Harley-Davidson of Edmonton is turning up the heat for their annual garage sale and swap meet. Catch the Twin West Crew Stunt Team live for 2 massive shows packed with smoke and fire. Plus, score huge deals on parts, gear, and clothing. Check out artisan vendors, local riding groups, and grab a bite at the food trucks. August 15th, 10 to 3 at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Find more at hdedmonton.com.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
$250. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We got a lot of people excited. Hey, do you want to go to the game Saturday afternoon? We got a pair of seats to send you to see the Elks in action against the Argonauts. 1:00 start on Saturday. Great seats, too. So you can text in 833-401-1440. Include your name, your email, and the word Elks. And we'll do a draw at the top of the hour. So if you want to go, good luck. It's that easy. Pair of seats to go to the game on Saturday. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, founded in 2009. They just continue to grow and expand. Sergey and Mark doing a fantastic job, and they're hiring. So if you're a general laborer just looking to get your some experience, some opportunity, some money. Also, you could be a hydrovac operator and other unique jobs. Check it out, Indeed.com, and look up All-Star Construction. And we're going to get to some stats of the day. So, I mentioned this one off air to Declan and Connor because, they're a little bit younger than me. And so today, history is going to be made at the Canadian Open in the men's quarterfinals. It is the first time for an ATB Masters 1000 event. So basically one of the main events on the men's tennis tour, where all the finalists in the quarterfinal, all 8 players, are born in the 2000s. Brandon Nakashima, born in 2001. He's the oldest. Well, as the Spaniard Rafael Yodar is born in 2006. He doesn't turn 20 until next month. He's the youngest, but it's never happened. So it was inevitable, but the youth has been served. Fair to say. Now, speaking of youngsters, how about this for a stat? Shortstop for the the Athletics, because they don't have a city right now, so they're just the Athletics. Odd. We should at least call them the Sacramento Athletics, shouldn't we? That's where they're playing. Anyway, Jacob Wilson, shortstop. He played his 111th consecutive game without an error. That's the longest streak by an MLB shortstop in history. Now, the previous record was set by Orioles shortstop Mike Bordick when he went 110 games back in 2002. Now, the difference is Bordick had to field 544 balls in that time. Wilson's only at 331. Now, that's a significant difference because it's not like the Athletics are a dominant team. So either way, though, he is only fielded it 331 times compared to a shortstop 20-some years ago was getting 544 opportunities. So I just wonder if in baseball, you still want a good shortstop for sure, but it's not as a must-have as it used to be because there's just not as many ground balls going to the shortstop. But I would like to know, and I was trying to find it, and I couldn't before he came on. What's the streak for most consecutive chances without an error? So Wilson's had 111 games, 111 games, a hell of a record. But I'm curious what the most chances is. And just for fun, MLB, you want to take a wild guess on what's the MLB record by any position player for most consecutive games without an error? And now the guy who said it wasn't an everyday player. And he did it recently from 2018 to 2022. He went 440 games without an error for the Twins, the A's, and the Tigers. That is Robbie Grossman. Now, I'd like to know how many chances did he get in those games, but either way, it's not a bad number. Not a bad number at all. Now, let's stick with baseball for a bit. Corbin Carroll hit his 56th triple on the weekend. That passes Trout and Marte for most amongst active players. Now, Trout and Marte, those guys have each played over 1,500 games. Meanwhile, Carroll's played 604. Like, this guy is a triple machine. Now, if you look at the all-time record for triples, like, he's not catching it. Sam Crawford had 309. But he also, Sam Crawford played in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Just a different era of baseball, of course. But if you look at kind of, Stan Musial was at 177. Roberto Clemente, 166. Some other recent names. Lou Gehrig, 163. That's for triples. So you look at Corbin Carroll, and if he maintains this pace, when he gets to 1,500, he'll be close to 150 triples. Like, I don't know if you watch Arizona that much, but that guy is worth the price of admission, dude. He is, triples are one of the most exciting plays in ball. Like, that guy, they timed him the other day just around the bases, and he can absolutely flat out fly. So to me, that's just something to kind of watch for. There's no one really close in MLB as far as one single skill set that he's way more dominant than anyone else, right? Since he debuted in the league, he has 56 triples since 2022. That's 21 more than second place. The only other player I can think of right now, maybe in baseball, who dominates more in his single skill would be Mizorowski with his velocity as a pitcher, right? Con's like, that guy's just like, hi, who's got the hardest pitch all the time? Mizorowski. Oh, he has the first one. Now he has the second. Now he's the 25th. Like, that guy's a machine. So those would be two. How about Kyle Schwarber? Since he joined the Phillies, he has 222 home runs, which is the second most by any player in MLB history in their first 5 seasons with a team. Now, Babe Ruth had the most, 235 with the Yankees from 1920 to 1924. Schwarber's at 222, and he still has 42 games left to catch him. I don't care any record when you're chasing the great Bambino. That's pretty good. Now, also Schwarber, he has 375 home runs through his first 12 seasons, which is a 19th most of anybody. Now, keep in mind that he's had some of his seasons. He was a late rookie call-up, so that by their rules, that's considered a season, even though I think he played like 8 games, but whatever, it's a season. Then there was COVID, shortened season, right? And then he had the 1 year of injury. But even with a strong finish, he could finish top 10 all-time for most home runs in his first 12 seasons. Like, this guy is an absolute masher. I don't know if we talk about him enough. Right? Like, you mentioned Ohtani, you mentioned Judge for sure, but man, Schwarber mashes the ball consistently. So it's something to watch, man. I quite like it. Some other numbers here in the CFL as we talk about it, because we're at the halfway point of the season for the Green and Gold. Now, Rankin is clearly easily going to surpass 1,000 rushing yards. He's already just under 700. He's got half the season to go. That's going to happen. He's not on pace for it right now. It would need to pick up a bit, but he still has 418 yards. He's on pace. Like, he'd have to have a pretty good second half, but no running back has ever had 1,000 rushing and even 900 receiving yards. So he could be the first 900, 1,000 yard guy. Connor Halley, he would need 482 yards in his last 9 games after having 418 in his first 9. And considering who they play, Hamilton twice, Toronto twice, Calgary twice, Winnipeg twice, compared to who they played early in the year, I think there's still a chance here, because he started great. They've had a little lull here. I think we'd all agree last week was the worst. How the hell Rankin didn't get 1 target in the receiving game, and he only had 7 carries. Well, he averaged 8.9 yards a touch. What the hell are they doing? I'm sorry. That was just a colossal failure in play calling. I'm sorry. It is. I'm sorry with that. I can't think of a rational answer. Because where was he succeeding? On first down, which has been one of the weaknesses of the team, run on first down. And they had big yardage on it. And then they went away from it. And the game was close in the first half. So don't give me that one, man. I didn't like it. So there you go. There's some stats of the day brought to you by All Star Construction. Any stat, Con, that caught your ear there?
Consecutive games without an error. I think that's an impressive one. And then kind of the discrepancies in how much you're facing and how much that can change from team to team, player to player. I'd say era to era. That's kind of crazy. Like you kind of think you hear the consecutive games and you don't really dig into exactly how much that difference would be, how many, routine ground balls you're facing or whatever it might be. So yeah, that was an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is. It just shows you though the drop, and I'll have to reach out to my an MLB stats guy. But I'm curious, how many plays did all shortstop face? How many chances did they face in 2002 compared to now? And I'd like to kind of see that per year, because I think it's gone down. I don't see as many plays at shortstop when I watch the game. Do you?
Hard for me to say for sure. I mean, I would like to see those numbers to see if there is a big drastic drop and, what changed with when teams were kind of getting into the shift and trying to hit away from that. But hard to say for sure. I don't think I could say either way definitively that I've noticed less to the shortstop. Clearly with the numbers that we've seen, though, for two different players, there was quite the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. All right. Now, let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle now, best place to go, goauto.ca, because they have over 17,000 vehicles free to choose from. Cars, vans, trucks, SUVs, you name it. They have it. Goauto.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Toronto Blue Jays looking to make it 2 straight over the Red Sox tonight, just after 5 o'clock from Toronto. We'll have that one for you here on our AM feed following the Jason Gregor Show. Tough news for the team is before the game, manager John Schneider announcing that starting pitcher Trey Savage has undergone surgery on his meniscus. He's considered week to week and still could pitch again this season. Elsewhere around the majors, you've got the Guardians and the Tigers. Marlins host the Pirates, Mets and Braves. Twins taking on the Orioles, the Rangers in Anaheim. Padres host the Brewers. Rays head to Sacramento for a meeting with the Athletics, and the Dodgers hosting the Royals. Minnesota Vikings announcing today that Kyler Murray will be QB1 when the season gets going over former first-round pick J.J. McCarthy. Murray signed a 1-year deal with the Vikings this spring following his release from the Arizona Cardinals, while Chicago Bears safety Kobe Bryant will miss 4 to 6 months after going knee surgery. In the WNBA today, 3 games, Fever and Liberty at 5:30. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Aces and Mystics and Sparks and Mercury from Los Angeles. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer, Terry Ryan. And we'll go around the NHL with Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr.
Tuesday
Dirk.
afternoon.
Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings.
Day
and the convenience
afternoon, the
of
Gregor
on-site
Show.
tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com.
Connor Halley.
Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Got a car you're ready to part with?
They have it. Go
Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament, Friday, August 28th, 2026 at Millwoods Golf Course. Golf, drinks, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's grads and helps graduates shine on graduation day. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca before it sells out.
Jason Gregor Show on Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports. It's Sports 1440.
Presented by Play Alberta, where Alberta wins with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Just after 3 o'clock on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. We're not really that lovely. Maybe I say it's lovely because I will admit, I walked out of the studio, and when you walk out of our studio office to go into the mall, there's a door right outside, and I walked out and I just saw it was raining again. I was just like, oh, like I don't know if I've ever had an feeling about the rain. Like it is just, I don't know how people in Vancouver do it, man. I don't get it. Like it's dreary. It's just too much. Now, I know it's here, and by the time I get off work, it'll probably be sunny because luckily that's how it is in the prairies. But I'm just telling you, man, like and hey, I know it could be way worse. Yeah, you know what? I feel for all the people in Peachland and Vernon right now where it's burning up. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. No question. So don't take it like, woe is me. You can have that little moment of, oh, geez. And then I'm like, hey, yeah, could always be worse, man. Could always be worse. So we'll see where it goes. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, your one-stop shop. If you're somebody who likes to multitask, do a lot of different things, instance lottery, live dealer, sports, casino, all in one place. You're like, I don't want to look around a lot of places. I just want to go one place. Well, there's your place, PlayAlberta.ca. As we're going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years they've grown, becoming your most diversified electrical contractor in the province. That is Action Electrical. As we are joined by former NHLer, host of Shoresy, hosts his own podcast, is in the Hall of Fame. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
I'm all right. If you can hear me, we're good. I'm at my daughter's soccer game. There's a lot going on around me, but it's a busy time of year when it comes to that sort of thing over here. But if you can hear me, we're all good.
Hey, have you ever been hit by the ball not paying attention on the sidelines?
No, I am paying attention. I'm watching the game.
No, but in your career, like ever, just sometimes, who knows, maybe someone calls you, not looking, you're on your phone, you're responding to one of your 8,000 fan messages that you get. And so you're all of a sudden you're not paying attention. Then you get beamed by the ball. Ever happen?
I don't, honestly, I'm sure it's happened that I don't pay attention, but I'm usually doing around it. I'm multitasking usually.
Okay. All right. Just checking just because I saw it happen the other weekend, dude. I was dying.
Yeah. I mean, it does happen, but that's a good, it happened to me once, I guess, if you really want to get into the meat and potatoes of it. It did happen to me at a Blue Jays game, but I was walking down to my seat. So, I had popcorn and beer, and there was a bunch of people, and I was passing it in, and I got pegged with the ball.
Really? Did the ball land? Did you grab it in the scrum, or your hands full?
It hit my stomach.
Oh.
I remember the shirt I was wearing and everything. It hit my stomach on the way down, bounced off me and down the stairs, and then I believe someone got it and gave it to a kid. It ended well. I remember I was half buzzed, but it was a great time. But I got hit right on the stomach with it.
Okay, how'd that feel?
Honestly, at the time, I wasn't feeling much pain, but there was a bruise. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Hey, you got another season? Are you filming yet, or what's happening?
We'll be doing that in, I believe, November, maybe late October, but I know it's going to be fall.
Okay.
And we got a few things in September, so it'll probably be later in the fall. But yeah, it's definitely going to happen. That's no secret. I have no idea what Jared has in store. I don't know. Usually we have some sort of some idea, maybe a scene or a flavor, or, we give it away when we knew we were doing it in the summer. But now I have no idea where he's going to go with this. And I'm just as happy like that. It's all good. I don't need to know. If he doesn't want us to know, it's probably he never really wants us to know, but usually he's a little more liberal when as far as talking about the show. He's a little, you can kind of maybe squeeze some things out of him, but he's been pretty tight-lipped. His cards are real close to his chest on this one, and we're all good with it. We're hanging out with him a lot. We talked about everything in the past, everything that he wants to do in the future, and all kinds of things as friends and coworkers and everything, but I haven't heard anything about season 6.
Oh, all right. Well, it's always good to have a surprise. That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch the Jays game last night? Have you ever seen that rule in play before?
It is wild because I was watching it, and normally I'm either watching the Jays in 30, or I'll record it and go back. But in this, I was watching it live, and at first, I just couldn't understand it. I said, "What are we doing?" The way they made it seem on TV, and when you went over to Twitter, was that it was all about the 2 outs on the scoreboard, which really didn't have much to do with it, other than the players that say that they got caught sleeping because of that. But so I still couldn't really understand it, and then I tried to. It took me about 10 minutes after. I couldn't believe the decision. I was phoning friends and everything. I phoned my dad. Couldn't really explain it, and then I realized it does make sense. It's really weird, but within the rules of the game, it's kind of the way it's got to be called. I understand why they got the run. It's just, that is, I don't know. Has that ever happened before in the history of baseball? I don't really know.
Well, supposedly it's happened at some lower levels. I could see, Toronto, and Schneider's like, "Hey, man, like he waved us off the field," and I'm like, "Okay, he waved you off the field," but probably because I think it's fair to say that in the moment the players didn't know the rule, which is fine. There's lots of because if they had, they just would have thrown the ball to third base, and then it wouldn't have mattered. And so it's an obscure rule. I can guarantee you, though, now they all know. And players on those two teams, if it ever happens again, would be like, "Hey, yeah, guess what? We know what we're going to do," and you move on. And luckily for them, it didn't impact the outcome of the game, as Toronto was able to win. Big win, right? They beat Sonny Gray. It was 14-2. Like, the Jays, it's a long shot to get in, especially because Texas has a pretty favorable schedule, especially in the next 2 weeks. Like, the Blue Jays are going to have to play unreal this week and next week, where they play the Red Sox and the Yankees at home, and then Tampa and the Yankees on the road, because in those 2 weeks' time, Texas is playing 4 dogs, right? The Athletics, the Giants, the Angels twice. So you're going to have to play great and hope that somehow, Texas just doesn't obliterate those teams. Otherwise, you won't be able to catch them.
Yeah, exactly. And definitely, the odds are not looking great, but I like that the timing of all this. I thought at the deadline, I thought they looked pretty good, given, no one expected this, and you can't lay this on any one person in particular. No one expected this. Everybody's having their worst seasons at the same time, and the injuries and the expectations, the trades and everything, but they got Soriano out of it. They've got some players called up that are doing well, and now they're starting to win a few, right? A couple of series, or 2 or 3 in a row outside of that Chicago game. But it's nice, and it's also a little bit refreshing, because these guys, you talk about the Leafs last year blowing it. Like, these guys, it has felt like, being a Jays fan, like they've been out of it for 2 months, but you keep playing for something, and who knows, you can get lucky, and they're giving it a shot. And it's nice that baseball, for whatever reason, maybe this is a topic for your show sometime, but no one seems to tank in baseball. And I don't even know who's even if there's a huge prospect going number 1 overall, I don't even know who it is, and I follow baseball. So there must be something in the, I don't know if it's a breakdown of communication or the college level doesn't have as many fans, but the good side of that is that, teams generally don't be just tanking unless you're bringing people up to give them some opportunity, but you're not trying to lose. Like we're watching the Jays now, like they should be out of it 2 months ago. If it hadn't felt like that, they should be, but they're playing for something, and it's nice to see. And within that, there's players like Bateman that are coming up and, getting their first hits in the major leagues and some exciting things. And sometimes, was it Mikado? They got a few guys called up that are doing well. Sometimes it's that naive kind of exuberance that might help you get over a little bit of a hump.
Yeah, it's funny because the Mets are one of the worst teams in the NL, and they definitely weren't planning on being that. The Giants, the Rockies, the Angels, the Athletics, the Royals, just like in it, like those teams were never really in it to begin with. I don't know if they tanked; they just weren't that good, right? Like when you have a 30-team league, there's always like at the start of this NHL season, I can tell you pretty confidently that the Vancouver Canucks are not going to be competing for a playoff spot next season, right? Now, will we say they're tanking? No, they're in somewhat of a retool, is how I would look at their team. But then, like Chicago, I don't think they're the air that, but they're trying to improve, right? Like the New York Rangers stunk last year, but they're not going to come into this season thinking they're a bottom 5 team. But so none of them will really tank. But every year there's going to be at the midway point, 3/4. We know for certain which the teams are that are bad, right? Like the Sharks. I know they had a good year last year, but man, like they could surprise you maybe. But I don't know. Like Seattle to me isn't a playoff team. Like there's a few teams that I think we know won't be playoff teams. But you're right. No one really tanks in baseball. What's interesting though about all these teams that made trades is some of these teams did, like Toronto traded off guys, but then they added guys at the same time, and they're lucky because in the AL this year there's not many dominant teams. Texas is just above 500 now at 60 wins and 59 losses. Right, so they're one game above 500. True 500 in baseball.
Yeah.
But then the Twins, the Tigers, the Guardians, the Orioles, and the Blue Jays are all 4, 5, 6 games under 500, depending on what. Well, 2, I guess, for Minnesota. And you're like, oh, okay, well, they're not terrible. Like they're not that far out of it, but there's a little bit more. I think teams who look like they're in the picture this year because the last wild card team isn't that good.
Yeah, this is a unique year for sure. And anybody that would be watching baseball for the first time would probably be waylaid by the way this is going down. Like when I said they should have been out of 2 months ago, I wasn't really exaggerating. A lot of times, you would know that just there's a lot of teams surrounding them that have had just as disappointing kind of seasons. And for the Jays, it's magnified because they're the only Canadian team and because they went so far last year. I mean, come on, Game 7, to go all that way. And not like they got blown out in Game 7. So, the expectations. So it's just felt tough to take all year. And for Vladdy having this, I mean, I don't know if I don't know what to.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what to compare it to. I really don't. He's not the best player in the world. It's not like McDavid getting 2 goals, but he's one of them. I don't know. We're talking about Toronto. I don't know. It's like Matthews. I don't even think getting 25. I think getting like 10. I don't know. It's absurd what's happening. You're a few years ago, I would have never said it on your show at the time, and for fear that he was listening. And but now, Jack Campbell, he talks about it like clearly. We were going, well, maybe it's mental. It was all mental, man. He's a great goalie. Now he's talking about it and he's helping people. You're looking at a guy disintegrate in front of your eyes because he all the the pressure and everything that comes with that, and having the responsibilities. And 2 of them are very humble. Like Jack Campbell's a humble guy. The first thing he would say is like, "It was my fault." To a point that you can't get in your head like that. I don't know if Vladdy's doing that. I don't know, but I mean, you haven't had a home run at home. I really mean it. I think I'm looking around. I'm at the soccer park here, and there's 200 people. A few of them play local baseball. There's a chance one of them gets in 100 games with a fastball coming in at 95. If you're a baseball, you don't even need to be a good just swing. Eventually, you're going to make contact if you got the timing down. And Vladimir Guerrero, who had 8 in 18 games last year in the major leagues, in the World Series play, in playoffs, is just got a goose egg. I don't even know. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in sports. Yes, there's drop-offs, but there's a reason. Either there's an injury or late in the career. I can see why Springer kind of fell off a cliff. But this is wild, man, and we're going on it as Blue Jays fans, as a group, and and it's just fascinating to see it. It's all magnified because of everything going on around it. But if anything else, Vladimir Guerrero, I've always said it, he plays all the games. A lot of these athletes don't, and a lot would bail. And I know a couple times it was back. I mean, give him a stress game. But the guy shows up to play. Kawhi Leonard is on his way to Toronto, hopefully, but we don't know. Like, hopefully he plays 50 games. We don't really know. I wouldn't bet on it. You don't really know. And it's going to be these things, and stress, and, there's all kinds of players that just wouldn't show up. So he does that, and he gives everybody credit. He's the first one to give out that home run jacket and everything else. So you want to see a guy like that succeed. And I just refuse to believe that this is Vladimir Guerrero. I think he'll come back fresh next year.
Yeah, it's been crazy. You know what's funny, though? He's not even the biggest fall off this year. It's Cal Raleigh in Seattle. He's went from 60 home runs. He has 12, and he's batting 161.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a 60-goal scorer in hockey. And suddenly you're like a 15-goal scorer the next year. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that Raleigh's missed a few games due to injury, but he's still only hitting $161. And like his OPS is only 570. Like, it is being brutal for him this year. Him and Vladdy, easily the two big stars last year. And, are oddly enough, they faced each other in the ALCS. And, Raleigh lost that one. And I don't know, like I saw a video the other day that said, this is where Cal Raleigh's season went by the wayside. Remember when his former teammate in the World Baseball Classic came up to plate and wanted to give him shake his hand, and he was like, no, I'm catching, and he didn't do it. And guys like, see, that's where his season went off the rails. It was wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. We'll take a quick break, and we'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering, a happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Hurry in before these offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Early mornings just got louder. For the hottest takes and the sports stories that actually matter to Edmonton, you need Tom Gazzola.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 11
on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440 at 833-401-1440.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:27 Tuesday afternoon. And hey, as I said, it went out for a break and now it's sunny out. The wonderful weather in the prairies. It's very bright. It can be very hot. And man, this, at least for us anyway, and it's kind of like we're in a little bubble this year of wetness in kind of northern Alberta, at least in central northern Alberta, because it is a lot of rain and just keeps coming every day without reprieve. Maybe just take it out to BC right now. That'd be great. They could really use it in Peachland and Vernon and elsewhere like that. So even places in in Alberta, there's some places like we're really wet, and there's other places that are really dry. It's been some extreme weather, no doubt. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, Lotto Max, $30 million and 30 prizes of $100,000. Good luck. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca as it's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where you can stop in and enjoy $1 cones. All you got to do is download the McDonald's app to your phone, and you can get $1 cones all summer long, only at McDonald's, as we are joined by the host on Sirius XM and Brunch and Nightcaps, Dave A. McCarthy joins us. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Good. It was sunny here about an hour ago, but it now looks fairly ominous. So we haven't had as much rain as you in Edmonton this year, I can tell you, Jason, but it has been inconsistent. We will say that much.
Dave, I saw a picture of you on, I don't know what, if it was just like a Q&A at Zach Hyman's tournament up on the stage. Is that where it was?
Yeah.
What was that for?
Well, Zach had a celebrity panel after his tournament during the dinner. When he asked me to be a part of it, I was like, me? And so, yeah, he had me up there with Elliot Friedman and a guy who ran the search for the Leafs GM, Neil Glassberg. Berkey was up there, Gary Roberts, Jennifer Hedger, David Alter, colleague of mine who covers the Leafs. Me, and so they put me in the center, which was even worse because now like I'm right in the middle. Anyway, it was unbelievable. It was a fantastic tournament, and not to go on about myself, but to change to the tournament. Zach does an unbelievable job of that tournament. It's been 7 years now. They've raised a ton of money for some really important causes, and when you go, you feel like family. So if you want to buy a foursome next year, I'm not trying to shill anybody. I really am not. I could care less, but I'm saying it because it's real. He does an incredible job at that tournament. It's my favorite one of the year.
All right. We're getting we're basically just rookies actually are a month on September 11th when the rookie camps will get going, and there's obviously some teams. What's your expectation when you look at the 2026 draft class in the NHL? And you look and say, okay, there's obviously Gavin McKenna. A lot of people are high on Stenberg. Hearing rumblings of Albert Smith maybe. Vigo Bjork for Winnipeg. Like, I'd be very hesitant on a few of those guys for me anyway. I know that, there's some options now. Now these guys are 18; they're not old enough yet. European guys can go to the minors, but not the junior players. What about Caleb Malhotra? Do you think he goes to the NHL, or would they look at him and, you know what, like, it's your dad's first year as an NHL head coach, you played 1 year in the Ontario League, it might be best to just put you back in the Ontario League. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm always of the mind that you can never give an 18-year-old too much time developing, but you certainly can rush him to the NHL. Now, when your dad's the head coach, that makes things even a little bit more interesting, right? I think if that's the case, like, you really need to be ready to roll. And so what I'd say with Vancouver is they're looking for youth. They're looking for guys to come in and represent the next wave. Now, this is not going to be a year in Vancouver where they are looking to contend for anything. So it's not like you can look at that two ways. It's not like you're worried if the guy makes too many mistakes, he's costing all that. But it's also not like he's going to come in, if he plays in the NHL, and be insulated by a team that has some better players around him. Like, for instance, Gavin McKenna here in Toronto, whose situation is not unlike Austin Matthews when he came in 10 years ago. You're not asking him to be a savior in Toronto. You're just asking him to be a guy on a team with a bunch of guys that are, quite frankly, and need to be better than him if the Leafs are going to be any good this year. So Gavin McKenna will be in the NHL. He'll have some insulation, and that'll help him. With Caleb Malhotra in Vancouver, again, you don't care if he makes mistakes because they're not really going to be trying to contend for anything. But if he's making mistakes left, right, and center, is that the best place for the development of Caleb Malhotra at such a young age? And I know you and I agree on this, I tend to believe that it's not. What I will say about Caleb Malhotra, and it's interesting, he played for the Brantford Bulldogs, who are owned by the Hymans, and general manager is Zach's brother Spencer. And I had Spencer on the brunch, a month or so before my run wrapped up in July. And we were talking about some of the prospects in Caleb Malhotra, and talking about the golf tournament as well. You cannot find a guy to say more glowing things about Caleb Malhotra than Spencer Hyman. Loved everything about what this guy was about. And he told me a great story. When he came in last year, he said he came into the coach's office, Jay McKee at the time, who's now moved on to the American Hockey League. He said he went in, he said, "Coach, I want you to help me learn the names of the officials. Do you have like their pictures and their names? Because I want to remember what their names are. So when I go into the face-off circuit, who's really good in the draws this year, I want to be able to call the linesman by name." I mean, at 18 years old, that's pretty damn impressive. So the guy's got the work ethic. He's extremely mature. He is a really, really good player. And I guess I'd say is if he goes into camp and he leaves you no other choice but to put him on the team, by all means. But if you're not 100% there, I think he's probably better served continuing to develop in a level where he can be one of the elite players and not a guy just trying to tread water.
TR.
Davey, speaking of young players, Gavin McKenna, over under 45 points. Where do you sit?
Over under 45. Oh, over, I think, for sure. I would be really confident that he'll get over 45 points because I think they're going to put him in a good position with good players, Terry, to exercise his skill set, which is to carry the puck, distribute the puck to guys that are capable, like Austin Matthews, maybe Matthew Nyes, maybe John Tavares, maybe William Nylander, of shooting at the net. I don't think we need to get carried away and say the guy's going to be point a game, but I could see him getting in the 50s for sure, especially if he plays with good players. And again, that's all going to be dependent on how he plays in training camp. And as the season progresses, how is he showing? But from what I've been told, people are really confident who watch prospects. This guy's going to be able to jump in and be an effective player at the NHL level. And if he's able to do that, it's not just going to be the Gavin McKenna show. He's going to be playing with really good players. And so I would be, I think that's a pretty good bet to say over 45 points. Quite honestly, put it this way. If he ends up with like 39, that's kind of a disappointment. I think, in the eyes of a lot of people. And then you'll get the narrative is starting to spin of, he's not as good as everybody expected, which is also nonsense. But I still think that would be a disappointment. I think over 45, I'm pretty confident in that, Terry.
Have you ever, as a sports writer, and covering more than one sport, obviously, have you ever seen the equivalent of Vladdy Guerrero's season for someone in their prime that's not injured?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, like personally, no, I haven't, because even years at Austin Matthews, the last couple of years has been, quote unquote down. He's still been on like a high 30, if not low 40s goal pace, which is still a very damn good year compared to the year that he scored 69. Yeah, that was incredible. But that's the high, right, Terry? When it's all said and done, we look back on what Austin Matthews put together over his career, what anyone has put together over his career. Wayne Gretzky, the year he had, 212 points. So the years that he had like 150, where we say he was no good? No. It's just that you don't get 212 points. You don't score 69 goals every year. If you're scoring like 40 goal plus pace, that's really good still. Yes, he's dealt with some injuries, and that's been a factor to it as well. And that's not been the case with Vladdy this year. But no, like it's a staggering fall off from Vladdy Guerrero this year. It's hard to explain. He hasn't been able to hit home runs at the Rogers Center. It doesn't seem like he ever comes up with a clutch hit. I don't have an answer for it. It's really surprising to see a guy that should be absolutely in his prime fall to this extent. And I guess you have to look at it and say you're confident that he's going to bounce back. But if we're having this conversation again next year, that's going to be really alarming.
Oh, yeah, alarming.
Definitely. Dave A. McCarthy joins us. Dave, I want to get to a team. The New Jersey Devils had 112 points back in 2023. Their last 3 years have not been good. 91 being the high, 87, 85, not good. They traded out Markstrom this year. Dawes is obviously going to split the duties at least to start the season with Jake Allen. It looks like, they've added some players. Where do you come out on the Devils? And do you know what type of team this is? And Jack Hughes is a player who gets a lot of hype, but doesn't really deliver because he's hurt too often.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Like they started so well last year, New Jersey. What do they have? Like an 8-game winning streak in October.
Yeah.
And you thought, oh, okay, well, here we go. This is because I've always been high on the Devils. On paper, you look at this team and there's not a lot not to like, so to speak. But they end up leaving you underwhelmed oftentimes at the end of the year. The season kind of went off the rails when Jack Hughes had his little, we'll call it Thanksgiving mishap, if you will, and then was out for a period of time. And things went sideways. And I think they rely on him so much to drive the offense that when he's not in the lineup, their attack, their ability to score is significantly affected. Because while I like Nico Hischier, I really do, I think he's more of a two-way center, and that's not meant as a disparaging comment, but I don't see him as an offense driver. I think he's a really elite center who is excellent at taking on heavier minutes against other teams' top players and doing a really good job neutralizing those guys while chipping in. But in doing that, the point is to free up Jack Hughes to go to work on competition lower down the other team's lineup. And when he's not available, that's a big problem. They had a really difficult time scoring this year. But in saying that, I like the balance of their team. They bring in Anthony Mantha. He's on a short-term deal. He had a good year last year in Pittsburgh. He's never been great during the playoffs, but he's been, reasonable at times during the regular season. He represents something a little bit different than what New Jersey has, which is a bit bigger of a body. So if he can have an effective year, if Jack Hughes can stay healthy, what's not to like about a Jack Hughes, like Jesper Bratt, Anthony Mantha line, and then a line of Nico Hischier, call it Dawson Mercer and Timo Meier that can take on heavier minutes. Dawson Mercer's pretty effective defensively as well. Timo Meier, when he decides to go to the net, not a lot of people can decide to stop him. He's just too big of a horse. And then, down the lineup, I love Connor Brown. He's got versatility. I don't need to tell you guys about him in Edmonton. He can move up and down the lineup. Arseny Gritzik, a young guy that hopefully, hits a little bit this year, can represent another wave of offense. I like the blue line. We'll see if Luke Hughes can really bust forward this year. The goaltending, Jason and I have talked about this. I don't know if I love it right now, but Nico Dawes is at that age, Terry, 25, where it's kind of now or never. He's played well at the minor league level. You can't block his path. Hopefully he hits. So if goaltending is stable and people stay healthy, in a division like the Metro, where after Carolina and Washington, I don't love anybody really. I don't know why New Jersey isn't looking at it and saying, well, why not us? Why aren't we the third place team in that division? I think they're absolutely capable of being it. But man, they got to show me right before they fool me one more time, because they fooled me a bunch.
Davey, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the Jays stretch and enjoy a few weeks off. And then we get set. September's right around the corner. Hockey season's here.
Yeah, I'm going to do a week in like 2 weeks on the network, so I might have to touch both of you guys for a few minutes here. It'd be great to have you on.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Anytime.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
There you go. That is Davey McCarthy from Sirius XM. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities.
And his Gregor Foundation.
He's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just West Brave and 118th.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL, helping you finish your electrical project. Is their goal from pot lights to electrical panels? The gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.348 rolling through on a Tuesday afternoon. Gregor, Terry Ryan is alongside Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As always, I had a few texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, what about Guerrero and EP40 from the Canucks? Offense is down, but defense is still good. Jay in Victoria. Yeah, maybe. Like, he did have the 100-point season, but like Vladdy just had like one of the greatest postseasons we've ever seen. That's what's kind of wild about it. And Pettersson now, he's had a few years where like he went from 104 points and literally 3 years later, he was half the player at 52 points, which is great. Now, Vladdy's obviously home runs this year are like, God, is he even going to get to double digits? Which is crazy. But can you think of another hockey player, TR, that just fell off that much?
That was a good example, actually. Like, it's still not the equivalent, I don't think, but that was something, yeah, a guy right in his prime. And, I mean, he was entering his prime. You know what I mean? I think he was a bit younger than Vladdy, even maybe by a year or two. And it just fell right off. No, I can think of examples of people getting hot and then going back to normal. But, I mean, Vladdy, we're just saying, like, I haven't even given a number, but let's not forget, like, his, like, second or third year, he had 48 home runs, right? So that was as, like, a 22-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough for me to think of an equivalent that would have been close. And I know he's still playing well defensively, you know, on first base as much as you are. I think a lot of players that you don't have him here. That you got him there not to make mistakes defensively, but you have him for power. He's great when he gets hits, but to be clutch and hit for power And you got Pedersen there thinking that, he's going to at least be somewhere up around those 100 points, which would put him as one of the best in the game. And neither happened. As I watched Pedersen, though, and all that happened, I didn't have the same confidence. I don't know why I've got confidence in Vladdy. The confidence might be the wrong word. Confidence that this isn't going to happen again. But this kept happening to Pedersen. He still is a pale shadow of himself. He might have spurts, but, he's not exactly living up to that contract. But I don't think Vladimir Guerrero, again, we're not even a year removed from 8 home runs in 18 games against the best pitching in the world, right? And now he can't get a hit against call up with Baltimore halfway through the year. I mean, I don't know. So, for some reason, I think he'll come back and maybe this season will be erased. I don't think it'll happen again. But with Pedersen, man, I'm worried. I've been worried for some time. If I'm a Canucks fan, I have no reason to be confident.
No, that's fair. It is. Well, yeah, Pedersen. I don't know. Like his looks like confidence. And the thing about Vladdy Guerrero is it's not just home runs are one element of it, but you just look at every one of his numbers is down significantly. Like you look at doubles. This guy was 35, 30, 44, 34. He's at 19 this year. It's just, and anybody who watches, he is pounding the ball into the ground more than I've ever seen. Right? Like he's not even getting hard singles or hard line outs where you're getting unlucky. He is pounding the ball into the ground more than I've ever seen. It's wild.
With all that, with each swing, you feel like he's going to come out of it, but he just looks more lost.
Yeah, no, he does. And, we've had some swing coaches on and then, guys who have been in MLB and they think there's probably a little bit of a change and maybe he's too out in front in some of his swings. So, you look at it, I'm sure part of that is mental for some players. And some guys, it's just, you never get out of a year-long funk, right? I'm sure you've had Team HCR. Maybe you had it yourself. You get in a funk for a year and some guys will bounce back. They'll have a down year and then they come back. But to try to get out of it in the year, it seems very difficult for some players.
And baseball, remember, man, for every other North American sport, at least for football, it's 10 seasons. But for they're playing 100. And so if you're looking at games played, how long does it take to get out of it? I can see if you're even in hockey, to be a great star, you could be in Bantam, one of the best players. You could go to a tournament and not have a great tournament. I'd be really surprised if you didn't have a good year. If it's the same sort of thing, right? In every sport, usually I can't think of a situation where 20, 30, 40 games, 40, you don't come out of it to some degree. Baseball, he's going he's over 100 games into playing like this now. And it's a game of inches. You got to wonder too, for someone that, again, I mentioned he's a team guy, it seems anyway, and it looks like that. He doesn't speak English much publicly, but I'm just looking at his antics, his actions when he steps up, who he gives credit to. It just seems like he's a guy who cares. So if that's the case, maybe $50 million year one, maybe you're trying to swing your way out of it with every, rather than score goal every shift. Maybe you go out and just try to play well and they'll come. Maybe same sort of mentality. And I'd kind of be surprised if that didn't have at least part to do with it,
Yeah. Hey, Gregor, Vladdy's power numbers have always been lacking outside of that 1 year, Montana to Rice. See, that's where I'll disagree. From 2021 to 2024, he had the 6th most home runs in the in MLB. Judge, Ohtani, Schwarber, Alonso, Olsen, Vladdy Guerrero, and then Yordan Alvarez. Right? He was right up there. And Vladdy had the most hits amongst all those guys. He had the second most doubles amongst all of them. He had he actually had fewer walks, but he had way more hits. And he had the fewest strikeouts significantly. Like he had 422 strikeouts, whereas those other top 5 guys, the lowest was Pete Alonso at 578 and the highest was Schwarber at 739. But, they hit more home runs. But I don't know if you can say his home run have been lacking. He has the 6th most over a 4-year span. And even if I probably extended that to 1 year just because last year he was down. And so he dropped. And still after last year, he's still in the top 9 over a 5-year span for most home runs in MLB. So he's a good home run hitter. He's not Aaron Judge, but he's still a good home run hitter. And this year, he's terrible.
20, 30 home runs.
Yeah. Like he's hitting 30 home runs pretty much guaranteed. Right now, the guy's he might be a 10 home run hitter this year. 10. Like,
People don't
it's crazy.
realize 30 home runs, man, what that means, right? You do that for 10 years, 300, that's a lot of home runs, like 400 or 500, and you're surefire Hall of Fame. You're one of the best players ever. People don't, because they see people have 60. Yeah, Judge had 60, whatever, he's out all year, right? Like these Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, looks like a Greek god, but if he has a hangnail, he tries, he's there, but something. He hurts himself swinging. The last injury last year was he got hurt and it said swinging the bat. That's a problem. You get hurt swinging the bat and you're Giancarlo Stanton, that becomes a bit of a problem. But Vladdy plays him so, like, he's going to get you 30, and that's to expect that, and it's at least something around it isn't outlandish, right? He can do more. His 48 was kind of like Matthews getting the 69, but you don't expect him to come back with this. So, and all while, if you look at the human being side of it, he's a human. The biology says that all those numbers happen over those years, and he's coming in to the best he's going to be as a human, right? From eyesight to strength to hand-eye, all signs point to like your mid to late 20s, you being the best version of that, girl, guy, whatever. And that's what's so off-putting about it.
Yeah, no question. We got lots of them are saying Jonathan Huberdeau. Yeah, well, he had that one great year. He was kind of an 80-point guy, but yeah, he hasn't been close ever since that. We've had a lot of texts about Jonathan Chichu, but Jonathan Chichu was a one-hit wonder. As I mentioned, Vladdy Guerrero, over a 5-year span prior to this, had the 9th most home runs in MLB, and he had the 6th most prior to that. And of those top 10 home run hitters, Vladdy was the guy who had the most hits out of anybody, right? And he had the 3rd most doubles over a 5-year span. So no, he's a pretty good power hitter. He's not Aaron Judge, of course, because Aaron Judge is a monster, right? Not even Schwarber, but he's better than everybody but 8 other guys in baseball over a 5-year span when it comes to home runs. So I can't agree that when people say he's never had big power numbers, he's never had monster numbers, but he's pretty damn consistent, except to this year, and that's what makes it crazy. Like the weird part about it is he's never looked like he's going to get out of it. Like he came in and he hit that home run in his first game after missing 3, and you're like, oh, okay. And then guess what? Since then, nothing. So it's kind of typical to how his season has gone, where he can't get in any sort of traction. He had no home runs in March. Granted, they only played 5 games, right? Then he hit 2 home runs in April. He hit 1 home run in May. He hit 1 home run in June. He hit 2 in July, and he's hit 1 in August. Like, he's being consistently lacking in power all year long. Like, there's never, TR, like, there's never been a sign where it was even a week where you're like, man, he's hit a few doubles here. He's, got a few home runs. Never once. It's crazy. And, like, if the Jays miss the playoffs, if it's I'm pointing directly to Vlad Guerrero. He's your highest paid player. He plays the most, and that's what it is. So.
Couldn't argue with you.
Yeah. TR, good to catch up with you, buddy. We will chat with you on Thursday. Have yourself a wonderful week.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. Chat soon.
There you go. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165.
The Sports 1440 update.
Jays looking to make it 2 straight over the Red Sox tonight in Toronto. First pitch, 5:07. We'll go right in progress Following the Gregor Show on our AM feed only. Elsewhere, Guardians taking on the Tigers. Marlins host the Pirates. You got the Mets and the Braves, Twins, Orioles, Reds, White Sox. Angels host the Rangers. Rockies in the desert. Padres up against the Brewers, while the Astros head to San Francisco. Prior to the game today for the Blue Jays, manager John Schneider announcing that starting pitcher Trey Savage has undergone surgery on his meniscus. He is considered week to week and could pitch again this season. The Minnesota Vikings announcing a former number one overall pick, Kyler Murray, will be QB1 this season over J.J. McCarthy. And the Bears announcing that safety Kobe Bryant will miss 4 to 6 months after undergoing knee surgery. In the WNBA tonight, 3 games, Fever and Liberty. Mystics head to Vegas with the Sparks host the Mercury. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions, get to the roundtable, and we'll be joined by Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
You've got a go-to coffee spot. A trusted partner, even a lucky game day jersey.
A lovely
It's about looking your
Tuesday
absolute best. There's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The second half is yours. Lock in your seat with our new 5-game season pass and get a $25 voucher. Half season, full energy. Get your season pass at GoElks.com. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at what'syourshare.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvancelliot.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's is making Tuesdays better. Get 40% off pizzas at regular menu price. Enter promo code 40Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, remember, if you do wager or gamble, use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca and ensure you stay within your limits. That's PlayAlberta.ca. Very good text came in from Derek in Summerside. Hey, boys, Teemu Selanne has 1 year in Colorado. Ooh, that was a good one. So Selanne had multiple 100-point seasons, multiple 80-point seasons in his career. And then he went to Colorado for 1 year. And he scored 16 goals and 32 points in 78 games. 32 points in 78 games for Selanne. The next year, he's gone. He's back. He's in it. Well, it's not the next year. Technically, it's 2 years because that was he went to Colorado. Then there was a lockout year, so he missed a year. Then he came back, and he scored 90 points and 90 points back-to-back years. Then he had 23 and 26 games and got hurt in 2008. So that's a very good bounce back of a really good player. Teemu Selanne was a top 10-point producer leading up to his terrible year, over a multiple-year span, right? Like we're talking about it. Vladdy Guerrero, for 5 years, had the 9th most home runs in the MLB prior to this season. And then he's fallen off a cliff. Now, Cal Raleigh is a little bit different in the sense that, well, he never had like he didn't have a stretch of 5 down years. He had one unbelievable season, like ridiculously good, right? And so it's still a surprise that he's fallen off this bad. But for like ask Mariner fans, I'm sure they would attest to you that it's like, are you kidding me? Cal Raleigh, like what happened to the guy? You go from being a 60 home run, and even it wasn't even 1 year because he'd had, I think, 230 home run seasons prior to that. Right? He'd been really good. He'd just been building up, getting better and better. 27, 30. Now he had a big jump, so 60 probably wasn't going to happen again, but he should be at least back to a 30 guy. And he's at 12. Now he's missed some games, so we do have to factor that in, but he's not even on close. Even if you look at it per pace game, he's not close to get, unless he has like some ridiculous final 6 weeks of the season. But it's not just his home runs that are down. His doubles are down. RBIs are down. Strikeouts, no, they're not down. His batting average has plummeted. Now, he was never a great hitter, right? Like 230, 220, 247, 161, $161. Oh, my God, it's awful. His on-base percentage is way down. Like every part of his game is down in Cal Raleigh. And he had 4 years of pretty consistent hitting too. So, yeah. I think both of those guys, you're like, I'm sure fans are like, what the hell is going on? But I love that Teemu Selanne reference. Good one. That is very accurate. Good one, Derek. Love it. Now, let's get to the roundtable today, brought to you by Go Auto. When you're looking for a vehicle and you want options, go to goauto.ca. They have over 17,000 options to choose from. Any color, any make, any model. 73 locations. GoAuto.ca. Declan Kruger, you are up first.
Yeah, this one stems from a debate that we had on the lowdown today. Didn't have a chance to completely get into it the way I thought we might. It kind of happened at the end of a segment, but we were talking about the 2012 NHL draft class, who would go number 1 in a redraft, and it kind of turned into, who do you like, Connor Hellebuyck or Andrei Vasilevsky? And I tend to be in the camp of Vass. I think that Connor Hellebuyck, obviously winning the Hart, I didn't feel he deserved it, but that's neither here nor there. Incredible individual accolade, but I think if you put these two together side by side and say, which career are you picking? You're taking Vas's all day. So I'm going to leave that with you two, but between Andre Vasilevsky and Connor Hellebuyck, give me Andre Vasilevsky.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Hellebuyck's been great. The MVP award did surprise me as well. I remember that he was at his lake and they brought the trophy out to him. But the questions have always been there when it matters. What is he going to do? And he, we've seen him be very good in big situations. The Olympics, I think it was that series against the Oilers, kind of that weird one where they ended up losing in 4 straight. But as of late, Vasilevsky's been the guy who's got the job done. He's got the hardware. And as much as, the Olympic medals are great, you're playing in front of all-star teams for the most part. We've seen Vasilevsky go out there with his club team and go out there and get the job done year in, year out. He's been one of the best. So I would take both those goalies on my team any day, but give me the guy down in Tampa.
I wouldn't say he's got it done as of late.
Well,
but he has got it done, which is
in the last
part.
decade,
Yeah.
Multiple times.
So if you look, there's only 2 goalies in the NHL who have started over 500 games since 2017-18, and that is Hellebuyck and Vasilevsky. They're also the only 2 that have over 300 wins. And, you look at Vasilevsky and Hellebuyck. Now, Hellebuck's actually started more games than Vasilevsky over that time, 536 to 507. Save percentage, Hellebuyck, 916. Save percentage, Vasilevsky, 917. Goals against average, 257, Hellebuyck, 248 for Vasilevsky. Shutouts, 39 Hellebuyck, 38 Vasilevsky. They're pretty even in lots of categories. Now, if you get to the playoffs, it's a different beast, no question. I will say that Vasilevsky, I don't think there's much discussion or debate in that time, has been on the better team, right? There's no Victor Hedman in Winnipeg. I like Josh Morrissey. He ain't Victor Hedman, right? I think that's fair to say. And so I don't. It's hard for me to go with Hellebuyck simply because in the playoffs he's had some horrific opportunities. Because Tampa Bay since 2017-18. They have the most points in the NHL at 400 with 434 wins. Winnipeg, meanwhile, is down. They're 9th most points in the NHL. But if you look at Hellebuck's record, I think in the regular season, it's close. And I might even give Hellebuyck the advantage in the regular season. But Vasilevsky in the playoffs, you got to take it.
So back to the original question. You guys both agree then. 2012 redraft, Vasco's number 1.
Yeah, who's the other one? Who's the best skater?
Hellebuyck was really Philip Forsberg, probably the best skater, Linus Ullmark, but it was really between Vas and Hellebuyck. Yeah. I think for 1 and 2.
Well, if you now a redraft, sure, because of the power of hindsight, but it's rare to take a goalie number 1 overall, right? So now, hey, Yakupov, wasn't it definitely was not great. There's no real dominant. There's not one player from that draft class who's a point a game guy. Not one. The highest scoring defenseman is Morgan Riley with 549 in 951 games. So yeah, I think
most games is Cody Ceci
from his draft class. Yeah,
I believe so.
So yeah, it is. It's not the now Jacob Slavin's pretty good from that class, but if we look at it, it's almost impossible to think there's a player that's better than Vasilevsky, but it is him. And Hellebuyck was but if you look at draft value, Hellebuck's been a better draft value because he was a 5th rounder, whereas Vasilevsky was still a 1st rounder in that class. But yeah, you would, in hindsight, you'd look back and say, yeah, Vasilevsky would have been number 1. Hellebuyck would have been number 2. But when Hellebuyck got drafted, he was playing for the Odessa Jackalopes in the NAHL. There was no way anybody's taking him 1st overall. It's a great example of, you know what? When you're drafting 17 and 18-year-olds, it's really hard to know what's going on, especially for goaltenders. But he was playing in the NAHL back then in 2012. And by the way, that was his 2nd year of draft eligibility in 1993.
What a pick
for Connor Hellebuyck. So that was a pretty good a pretty good class because Vasilevsky is a 1994 and Hellebuck's a 1993.
I'd love to hear the scouts who drafted him, like what the pitch was. He's a year 2 guy playing in Odessa, Texas, home of the Permian
Panthers
from Friday Night Lights. Yeah,
Booby Miles.
What a pick! What a pick that was. I'll jump to mine quickly. I know we got to get to Woodley in a sec here, but the NFL announcing that in Week 6 we've got the Seattle Seahawks are going to wear their retro, think Steve Largent jerseys against the Denver Broncos. Are going to wear their orange throwback jerseys. Think Steve Atwater, John Elway. Why do we not see this more in pro sports? Like, this is going to be awesome. And I know the color rush kind of ruined it because they always go in like stupid jerseys. But like to have 2 teams like this go with a sick throwback, would you guys not like to see the Oilers wear their orange and the Flames wear their red? Maple Leafs in the blue versus the Canadians in red? Heck, go to different sports. Go to the association deck. Give me the Lakers yellow versus the Celtics green. Like these types of jersey matchups for the nerds, the geeks like me that love this stuff are unbelievable. It's going to be hyped going into it. We're going to get some great pictures. I know for the most part you don't do it. You want to have the home team and then one team wearing the white jersey, but I don't know, you guys. I think every league should look into this a little bit more and have some of these great uniform matchups. The retro is a nice touch, but we could do it in every league.
So you just mean color on color?
Color on color,
Yeah.
dark uniforms, yeah.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm one of the guys who's in the camp. Like I've never cared enough for it to matter to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna
You're
watch
not a
the
nerd.
game.
You're
Yeah,
not a jersey
like
nerd.
I'm just
Yeah.
Listen, when I'm playing Madden, it's cool to throw 2 teams in the alternate jerseys, but when I'm actually watching the game as a fan, it doesn't affect it for me.
But there's only certain alternate jerseys you can go against, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that makes it challenging.
You can't do Blackhawks and Red Wings.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So there has to be you're still going to have to pick certain time. But I can understand why you would do it because if you're only doing it, once a year for each team, it's so minimal that it would appease the jersey nerds like Conman and Mark Mageau and others who would be all over it. And other fans would be like, oh, you know what? I don't mind that look. Right? We saw it at the Olympics. Quite liked it. So yeah, I'd have no issue with doing it. I'd actually kind of like to see it. It adds something different in a long season when you have that many games. I see no reason to do it. Just like the back-to-back, but it's the NHL, so they probably
Lakers versus Celtics is one. Like that's a
Be
classic.
clean.
But
I was trying to
they-
think of, like-
I feel like they do it I'm not gonna say regularly, but they'll mix it in.
I think especially with all the jersey combinations the NBA has, I think they do it. Obviously, you see it in Major League Baseball as well. But man, I love it. The Seahawks and Broncos jerseys are so clean. I think the NHL embracing that a little bit, especially, you don't have to do it with the Ducks or anything like that. Who cares about those teams? But like the classic, the original 6, the teams that have these great logos or great uniforms in the darks, I think it'd be awesome.
4:19. When we come back, Kevin Woodley will join us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payment on qualified purchases. These offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Election Day is October 19th. Are you referendum ready? Start by making sure you're registered to vote and your information is up to date, especially if you've recently moved or changed your name. Then, check if you have the identification you'll need to vote. The easiest option is a government-issued photo ID showing your full name and current residential address. But there are more than 50 ways to prove your identity. Find everything you need to be referendum ready at elections.ab.ca/voters. A message from Elections Alberta.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Rent it, run it, get it serviced. Japa Equipment Rentals has you covered from their shop to your job site. Alberta's construction pros have counted on Japa for rentals and service since 1972. JapaMachinery.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Collins, is that from Charlie Brown? Christmas? It sure seems like it's a Charlie Brown rattling on the ivory keys there. Probably not, though.
Ray Charles.
That's Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
But it does remind you of the Charlie Brown, does it not? Where he's playing the, I know it's a different tune. Doon, 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 doon. Right?
When I first
Everybody
picked it,
knows
I was like, this is familiar. So I ran with it. But
yeah. That's what it reminded me of. I know it's not the same. No disrespect to Ray Charles. It was obviously elite, but that reminded me of Charlie Brown. When it was actually Snoopy who was playing the piano in that one, right? And I can't remember which character it was who was just kind of, well, they were all kind of some classic dancing in that scene. If you know, you know, and many of you know. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Some news for the Jays game tonight. Okamoto will be out tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. He is he's being removed from the starting lineup. He has left knee contusion. So it looks like McAdoo is going to lead off, then Bateman, Guerrero Jr., Springer, Kirk, Clement, Jimenez, who's on fire lately, Straw, and Lucas, and of course Dylan Cease is starting tonight, and he has been he's been very good. Chase Lee is also being activated as Talon has right forearm tendonitis and will be placed on the 15-day DL. So there you have it. And with the Okamoto coming in, that really kind of changed the batting order a little bit. He was going to be batting seventh, and then they moved some guys around. Now Jimenez moves up and Straw. Now Lucas goes down to ninth. So interesting little shuffling of the lineup tonight for the Blue Jays. Anywho, now let's get talking some hockey as Kevin Woodley joins us as we go behind the pads, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. And for the Blue Jays fans out there, you can thank me. I visited the Red Sox on Sunday and helped smush them and watched a loss to the Athletics. So after the absolute heater that things were on in Boston, ever since I got there and watched some Red Sox games, it's all downhill. So Jays fans will like that. At least I helped them out.
Yeah. So, hey, I know we talked to you, and this time I did the homework, and because we were talking about the e-bug rule and how it would impact Edmonton if they have 3 goalies. So here's how it works. The Oilers still have to employ, which means pay, an e-bug, but he won't need to be at games if they have 3 goalies. The third goalie can act as an e-bug. He can go get dressed, but he has to stay in the room in case of an injury to the second guy. Right?
Okay, so you still have to hire a guy.
Yes, you still have to hire a guy, and he'll probably come out to practice at times, but he doesn't need to be at games if you have 3 goalies. Now, if one of your goalies gets injured, then they're going to have to travel the rebound.
Right, and that's why you have to have a guy hired, because the chances of 3 goalies getting through a season healthy, and you end up down to 2. Now, did you happen to get any parameters on the hiring? Because I actually ran into a couple. Like I said, I was in Boston for the USA Hockey Goaltending Symposium, second and not annual. They do it every 2 years. It's their second one. And some of the guys that were on the ice, I also had a chance to get on the ice outside of the symposium with Jacob Fowler and Jeremy Swayman, and a young man who, I believe is going to be the Boston Bruins practice goalie. There was a demonstration with the LA Kings goalie coach, Mike Buckley, and the goalie he used as a demonstrator is a former pro, and he's getting ready to move out to Los Angeles because he's going to be their practice goalie. Such an absurd, well, I shouldn't say absurd. That's not fair. But if you play 80 pro games, you can't be his practice goalie. He played 78.
Well,
so random. Like if he gets into 2 more games off the bench during his career, had a decent career.
Yeah.
2 more games off the bench, he can't play. So, and there are other guys who are perfectly suited for the role. Didn't make the NHL, but played longer as minor pros who just aren't eligible. So there's a little bit of not hand-wringing, but it's. Some guys that would be perfectly suited for it can't do it. So that's interesting. The one thing that I haven't been able to nail down, Jason, and I guess if you're not needed full time, is what this pays. Everyone's a little hesitant to sort of talk about that. I had teams talking about. I had one person tell me they saw it as a full time job and they thought teams would be paying like up to $100,000.
Yeah, I heard that for some. Yes, if you're
to which I also said like, hey, if that's $100,000 US, I can find you a couple of NHL goalie coaches that aren't making that.
Yeah, which would be crazy. Now the other thing is the player that you mentioned, the 80 professional games, but he could not have played professional hockey within the previous 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
So yeah, kind of has to have. It's like the Hall of Fame. You have to be out for 3 years, right? So that's
what you're saying is I could do the job if Edmonton needs me.
Yeah, why don't you sign up? You're playing all the time. Why not?
I mean, hey, listen, I'm shooting off campus tomorrow, so like I'm pretty much ready to be a star here, Jason. So the one thing I would say is that if anybody ever does give me that opportunity, the confidence of your shooters will absolutely skyrocket.
Like it would be a tough gig. It would be a thrilling one, even just to do for 1 year. I'm sure there'll be the odd guy who hangs around for a year or two, depending on pay. But like you talked about, there's some hanging a guy at 80 games or 78. But as I mentioned, look at the orders. If they carry 3 goalies, their third goalie could be the e-bug. Now the odds of the e-bug playing are extremely low. So let's make that clear, right? Like it happens very, very rarely. right?
So
but if it did happen to the Oilers, they'd have an NHL goalie come in. And you don't think that would cause teams to be like, hey, wait a sec. They get to use an NHL goal, but it's their choice because they're employing 3 and they're paying them way more money than they would be the E-Bug for a period or a half a period, which is usually all it ever is.
Yeah, but honestly, like any team carrying 3 goalies could have done this forever. And there have been teams. So I don't know why anybody would complain about it. It's just there's never been most teams to the cap, especially when it was, sort of shrunk there coming out of the or limited in its growth coming out of the pandemic. Most teams just would never carry 3. But it's not like that's a new rule. You've always been able to do that. If you have 3 goalies on the roster, you're allowed to dress a guy after one get hurt. So that's that part's not new. Now, interesting, though, I've talked to some people that have done the job, and I would suggest that on a practice situation, there would still be a benefit to having your paid practice non-NHL E-Bug guy available for practices, because the work they quite often do is stuff that, frankly, no NHL goalie wants to do. And as much as that can be part of the job, it's the type of work that can actually be detrimental if you have to do too much of it. And that is be a target for the skills coaches and the skills sessions. Much like goalies have sessions before and after the regular ice times, the regular practices that are specific to their position. So now do the skills positions, like they're out there doing skills work that quite often ends in shots and opportunities from spots that guys may get once all season. And they're repeated, and they're over and over and over again. And interestingly enough, from that USA Hockey Symposium, there's a presentation by the Swedish godfather of goaltending, Thomas Magnusson, about maybe the need for us to diversify our practices and embrace some of that lack of structure, open looks from the goaltending side of things. But outside of that, even if it's your 3rd goalie on your NHL roster, you don't want him doing that all the time. It is exhausting, first of all. Like, it is brutal work. Anybody that thinks that this is going to be a fun job, like, grab your practice glove, throw some extra padding in the chest protector. You are absolutely a target for the best players in the world to take shots from ranges. Like I said, they don't normally get during games. So I've talked to a guy who does it. It is hard, and you better be in shape. Jokes aside about me being able to do it, I'd be dead after one session, Jason. Like, no question. And I work to keep myself in half decent shape for an old man. I would be done before the first session ends. This is going to be a tough gig. This is not going to be fun. And it'll be interesting to see who volunteers, to do it. Do you have people that are looking to transition into coaching? Do you have, one was a young guy that was coming out that I met that was coming out of college that didn't have pro opportunities. A lot of coaches are sort of looking for that mentality. Guys who played at a really high level coming out of college, but nobody's offering them pro jobs. Their fear, I talked to one goalie coach just a couple of weeks ago, his fear was they're going to find those guys. They're going to be perfect in this job. But after doing it for 2 or 3 years and maybe getting some confidence against NHL shooters, some of them are going to be like, you know what? I can play minor pro. And they're going to give it another shot. So I just think there's so much that's going to evolve in this position, including what it's paid. But good on you for getting that clarity that, and we talked about that with the Sabres. And I think it was Lindy Ruff indicating, hey, like maybe we don't need to hire this guy if we've got 3. And that sort of matches and clarifies what I sort of said at the time. I still think you have to hire the guy, and it sounds like you do.
Well, you have to, because if all of a sudden, and you have to announce it like 48 hours before the start of the season on who it's going to be. Now,
have we heard anybody having open auditions or tryouts? Like, for some reason, I think there is at least one team that's considering or is doing this.
I have not heard that. I've heard rumblings of who the Edmonton guy is, right? Somebody who played, some junior and played very briefly I think in the East Coast League, like less than 10 games. So, but I haven't been able to 100% confirm it. I think I got a pretty good idea.
Personality's big on this one, especially for young guys. Like, this is, again, like, you've got to embrace the grind on this one. I've had, like I said, I did a little homework in terms of having conversations with guys who have sort of been in this role, and there have been teams that have been having this in years past. And it's just, you got to embrace the suck, man. I don't think people listening, it's really hard for me to paint the picture when he was describing the drill work and just the constant barrage of high quality shots and really like the abuse to the ego. It's not just, I can't even get a piece of these NHL shots, but these are, I don't care if you're on the first line or the fourth line, you get that look with that kind of time and space, like you're going to bury. And so it's going off edges of your padding and spots that aren't comfortable and catching gaps. And it's going to be a grind physically. You're going to get in incredible shape. And it's also going to leave you, like I said, guys will be wearing some pretty big extra padded equipment. Otherwise, they're going to be black and blue all season.
Kevin Woodley joined us from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com. I know we talked about young Devin Levi the last time and kind of, the challenges, and I wrote the article about it, just the challenges that, having a 3-goalie system is, and no goalie really loves it. There's no question about it. But I do want to ask you about you were just at a goalie symposium, Kevin. I'm always kind of intrigued on what you learn. Is there anything new in the goalie symposium world?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one. It's sort of what's new in the goalie world. There's some really, so first of all, the fact that they have this in the United States, and this is the second time they've had it. First one I went to was in Minnesota in 2024. And so you're bringing in coaches from around the country. You're bringing in speakers from the area, speakers from around the country who have been in the program or are working in the NHL, and you're just sharing information. There was a presentation, like I said, from Thomas Magnusson, who recently in the last couple of years retired and stepped down as the director of the Swedish Goaltending Federation. He brought his replacement, Stefan Lahti, who's been a part of the national team in Sweden for years. He brought him with him, and he gave a presentation on sort of skills and everything, and why we've seen this shift in goal scoring and what we need to do to counter it. And I think you and I had this conversation like a month back or so, and talked about just the shot quality that guys are facing and how good these shooters are. And I probably lean towards the goalie side that, hey, we're not falling behind necessarily. And Thomas actually said, yeah, we are. And we need to figure out how to get better because they have passed us. The shooters are finally doing the work that goalies did for 20 years. They've passed us clearly. Yes, the game is changing. No defensive defensemen and all this emphasis on quality shots. And so our stats are going to come down. But at the end of the day, these skilled shooters with time and space are finding ways to deceive us and exploit us. And so how do we get better? And one of their arguments was that we need to get out of that quote unquote goalie school mentality. Yes, you can still run drills. You should not be scared. And drills that build specific skills and movement patterns and efficiencies in your game, but don't be scared of the really tough stuff. Like, don't be always pumping shots into the belly at the end of those drills. Let shooters shoot to score. And more particular that he outlined, the need to have these drills have, or elements of at least, game-like situations. So that goalies can start to connect the patterns, as Mitch Korn would always say, rather than just solve that drill and be in the right spot at the end of it to have a coach pump it into his belly and make a smother save. So that was one of the big ones. The other one, and this kind of ties into the whole theme of the conference from USA Hockey and the way they're building their programs. There was a presentation from Steve Thompson, who put this all together, and he's their director. Now, the first thing I would note is we don't have a Steve Thompson in Canada. We don't have anybody who's employed specifically for goaltending in this country, and they do, to put together symposiums like this, to work with the U.S. national team development program, from Alaska to Florida to Hawaii, make sure that there are goalie coaching programs from a bronze medal standpoint that volunteers can take online, so that when they're out there with little Tommy and little Susie, they can teach them proper things as opposed to something they learned 25 years ago. And that's how you build grassroots. But in his slide, and it wasn't all roses, he talked about the amount of goalies playing the game has increased there, but it's still only 22,000. It's still way less than 2 per team. Quite often it's 1 per team, and quite often they're searching for a goalie. So there's a shortage of goalies in the United States despite their success. Anecdotally, I hear that more and more in Canada, but not to the same degree. So he wasn't pulling any punches on the things they need to continue to get better at, although they had presentations on how to get more goalies involved in your program. try goalie events, things like that, not allowing goalies to just be goalies at too young an age, to make sure everybody's playing the position. They've got a lot of mandates at different levels, smaller nets. We saw studies on the benefits of the smaller nets, not just in terms of the skill of the goalies, but the skill of the shooters. So you didn't have 8-year-olds coming down, skating down the ice, putting their head down, knowing that if they raise the puck over this 6-year-old goalie, you can't even reach the crossbar, it's going in. They actually have to have their head up and make skill plays and recognize where the net is. It's actually, as much as the parents will complain it's not real hockey, for the size of the young players, it's actually closer to real hockey. But then also those studies on intermediate nets and smaller nets included the fact that injuries went down. The wear and tear on the hips. There was a study with sensors and modules hooked up to the hips showing that when we put small kids in big nets, the extreme amount of movement they have to do actually contributes to an earlier deterioration of the hips and leads these kids into surgery by the time they're in their teens, and certainly into drafted into pro hockey because of some of the wear and tear that starts at 10U hockey because we're putting them in big nets. So all of these things, and you know what they added up to last year, Jason? For the first time in the history of the National Hockey League, this slide jumped out at me, and they weren't trying to brag because, like I said, they were very open about things that they needed to improve and how they were going to do it. But among all those things, there was a slide that showed the number of starters in the National Hockey League by nationality. And over the past 20 years, as we've watched Canada go down and we've watched the Americans come up along with other countries, last year they intersected. For the first time in NHL history, there were more minutes played by American goaltenders than by Canadian. I was not aware of that. It's part of their design with this program. It's called the 51 and 30. By 2030, they hope to have 51% of NHL minutes. And they got a long way to go to get there. It was an ambitious goal. But last year, and I think you tie it back to a lot of the programs that I've witnessed in these past couple of years and programs that have been in place for years and pushing up from the bottom, for the first time ever, Canada did not lead the way when it came to minutes played by goalies in the National Hockey League. That was a massive surprise to me. I knew we were headed there, but the fact we actually got there.
This season was the first season.
First time ever. We were at when they started measuring this, it was like 50%. And obviously it's going to come down as more nationalities get more opportunities and the game grows. That's just natural. But the rise of the American goaltender, and I think, we've talked about the options they have at the elite level for the Olympics and the Four Nations and all these tournaments. But the rise overall in just minutes played, it's not just the elite, it's across the board. It's backups. You got all American tandems in Calgary. Those types of things are leading to this trend. And for the first time in history, there were more minutes played by American goalies than Canadian last year in the NHL.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Which is funny. Kevin Woodley joined us, which was leading to my question. I was wondering in your symposium, Kev, if anyone ever talks about at the grassroots level, because the truth of the matter is there's not enough coaches who really understand the position. I'll put my hand up. I'm lucky enough that I have Dean, a guy I've gotten to know who is a goalie coach, and so I get him to come out to a few times. Then I work with us, and then we follow what he does. And it comes out about every 3 or 4 weeks because obviously can't come out all the time. And works with our goalies to kind of remind him. In the meantime, it's our responsibility as coaches to remind the players what they work on. But I've always looked at it and said, you know what? Not every coach is lucky to have that. And I think every coach would like their goalie to, as much work as I put in on defense and forwards, I'd like to put the same amount into goaltenders. But there's not a lot of easy things out there. Like, give me the basics for U13. I don't need the grandioso stuff. I think people overthink it. There's lots of basic stuff that could be handed out. And I find that, associations should be doing this, right? It's hard enough to get volunteers to coach. It's even harder to get volunteers who know the goalie position properly, not the goalie position that they played 40 years ago, because it's irrelevant. Like, it's not even the same, right? Like, the goalie be like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not remotely the same. But I haven't found, now maybe I'm not looking in the right spot, but do you know, is that something that's ever talked about? Because if you want to improve it, you want to get more goals, then you need them to get better things to work on. And I don't care if they're tier 1 or tier 2 or AA at U11, 12, 13, 14. Stop putting all the eggs in baskets of a few goalies in the AA and AAAs and everybody, and no one else gets it. Because we were just talking earlier, Connor Halley was drafted in the 5th round in 2012. We're going back. Who's the best player? If you redrafted 2012, Vasilevsky and Hellebuyck would be 1-2. And Hellebuck was playing for Odessa in the NAHL that year. It was his second year of draft eligibility. So he technically was a 12th rounder.
Connor Halley, before he got the opportunity at Odessa, was going to stick and puck to work on his skating by himself without a goalie coach to prepare for that opportunity. He was not in any of these programs.
Yeah. And so
we, like in Canada, we funnel down. This is part of the, this is part of the argument, part of the discussion. We funnel down to like these elite guys at such a young age. That doesn't mean they're going to be elite when it matters. I shouldn't say when it matters. It doesn't mean they're still going to be the best when they're 20, but we sort of, once they've done it, we keep them in the program. That's definitely an issue, but let's rewind. I loved your point about the need to have even simple, basic coaching access. So somebody on the ice who can help the goalies in a positive way, help them get something out of those practice sessions. And they're not there down there either, right? They got 22,000 goalies. I can't remember how many teams they have, but there's something like I think they're up to 3,300 bronze level certified goalie coaches in the United States. Now they want one for every team. That's the idea. Now you don't need to be trying, like when you go do your bronze level certification in the States, there's a little homework assignment. It's not hard, but it's basically a 2-day Zoom course. They make it so accessible, Jason, that's why they've got 3,300. Now they want to get to like 10,000 or more. They want a bronze certified goalie coach on every bench or on every team in minor hockey. That's their goal. And they're not there yet, but they are making a concerted effort to get there. Now, Canada does have a simple basic level goalie coaching program, the base model, the base level, but you have to take it in person. And so to get started on the Canadian goaltending certification, you have to find one of these clinics, find a weekend where you have time, where you find if it's in an area that you can get to easily. And I'm not blaming them, but when you compare the two in terms of accessibility, it's night and day. And that's why we've actually had Canadian coaches come to us and ask if we can pass along the information and go and take the American program. Not because it's better. I'm not trying to even put them aside. They actually teach very different things, but because it's accessible, right? This is what Sweden did. And listen, the number of Swedes drafted and everything in the last couple of years, maybe you could argue that it's become too overtaught at certain ages. That's up for discussion. But what Sweden did when they decided they wanted to improve their goaltending, they didn't say, let's go make a bunch of great goalies. They said, let's make a bunch of great goalie coaches. And it was at that base volunteer level. They offered coaching certification programs so that parent that's helping you on your team wants to help because his kids on the team are not, that doesn't know anything, can in 2 days learn enough about goaltending to actually help these kids. Now, I will also hat tip to Hockey Alberta. It's mostly at the higher levels a little bit, but they took a step with us at In Goal Magazine where you hit a certain level of rep and all the young goalies get a subscription to our magazine, and so do the coaches, because we have enough tools. We are not a curriculum. We're not going to walk you through a how-to, but we do have some outlines on some things like, hey, if you're working on skating, here's 3 articles with 3 skating drills featuring NHL goalies, but that you should be able to get your kids working on, like their simple skating movement patterns. Here's some drills on net play as you get into your teens. It's not a full program because we've always been very careful not to say we're not coaches, but it's a resource. And if you have parents and coaches and volunteers that want to learn and are willing to work, it's all at your fingertips there. It's actually kind of remarkable how much is there. So whether it's a USA hockey program, bronze level certification, if you can't find the Canadian one close to you that's convenient and you can get through it, even something like In Goal Magazine, not to pat ourselves on the back here, is a resource that has enough tools that will help you at least be able to go out there and work with your goalies in a positive manner, as opposed to just going out there going, I don't know what to do today. And this is what we did 30 years. I helped out with a team a little tiny bit last year. I've always avoided doing that. I walked into the first practice and the coach who didn't know anything about goaltending, and admittedly so, had an old junior guy show him a warm-up. And he was basically standing at the hash marks, and the kids were coming out and retreating backwards, waiting for him to shoot, like trying to hold edges, and then he'd try and pump a shot high. And like there are like 10 different reasons why that is not the way to get warm. The range of the shots, you're lighting up these young kids, you're killing their confidence. Their legs are shaking. They're trying to hold edges as he's kind of pump faking and holding. And it's just like, I can give you 10 drills at Ingo Mag that are better than this. And that's, so at least that's there as a tool. And the USA Hockey and the Canadian Hockey base level programs will do the same. The problem is it's often a lot harder to find the Canadian one. The USA Hockey one, simple Zoom registration. And no, they don't, much like they had Swedes and other countries at this symposium, they do not limit your attendance to your nationality.
No, nor should they. Kev, great stuff, buddy. We'll talk about more next week. Have yourself an awesome week.
Almost time for us to start making depth charts and lists and rankings. Hey, buddy?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
We're getting there.
I love it. That's Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hey, my name is Samantha. I work as an assembly technician for Ford of Canada. What I love about working at Ford is knowing I'm part of something I'm proud to stand behind. And when Ford does something like employee pricing, it makes me even prouder to work here. And that means you pay what I pay.
Ford employee pricing is on now. On select 2026 F-150 models, get over $13,600 in total price adjustments. For details, visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Hockeyology, Edmonton's home for elite hockey development, skating analysis, performance assessment, and year-round training at West Edmonton Mall. Elite hockey development at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We continue through Tuesday afternoon. Man, it's almost 3 hours in the show. Holy cow, time is flying by. And you have 2 days left. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Time for 5 questions, and 2 days left as the Brick does their live Price is Right 5-day deals. You got a few days left where you want to get in because you can win over $1 million in prizes. They're giving away mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, and more. No purchase necessary. 1 in 10 will be a winner. So stop in today or tomorrow at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Of course, we have seen a little bit of a drop-off for Justin Rankin and his rushing yards since that great start to the season. How many rushing yards do you think he will finish with this year?
Good question. So I think he's going to finish with the good news for them is that last game of the season against Saskatchewan, they're probably not going to rest guys. Could be a huge game. So I'll say he finishes with 1,405.
Ooh, that'd be a good season for him to keep that going. That'd be only behind Diedrich Mills from last season. I'll have him a little bit lower. I think the key to victory is getting this guy going, and the Edmonton Elks need to realize that 7 carries. I've been kind of banging that drum. This guy should be getting 20 touches, whether it's going to be receiving or rushing. So I'll have him a little bit lower. Give me 1,250 went for rushing yards for Justin Rankin this year. I'm hoping they ramp it up and get it going, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Question number 2. What is one reason you think the Jays can jump into a playoff spot this season?
Oh, God. One reason? Oh, jeez. Because there's not many good teams. So that'll be my one reason. You don't have to be great to jump into a playoff spot. But right now, man, Texas is leading them, and Texas has the best schedule down the stretch. So it's going to be hard.
No, it was a good answer. I mean, my first thought is the Bats haven't been great, and maybe they'll get going. They couldn't be much worse outside of that series with Philly, where they did start to come alive a little bit, scoring at least 5 runs in each of their games, even though 2 of which went to extra innings. The Bats can't be much worse. So if they can find a way to get that going, I think maybe they can go on a bit of a run here. Question number 3 for you. The Bills built their new stadium, $2.1 billion. And I know it's 2026 and everyone complains about everything, but it seems like we've got a lot of criticism about sight lines and scoreboard and all that. My question for you is, what is the worst stadium, arena, field, thing of that sort that you have been to in your life?
Go ahead.
Where's McMahon down in Calgary? No backs on the chairs, which is one thing, you can get over it, but it just reminds me of a box factory. It's fun tailgating, a fun place to go, but the stadium needs to be corrected. So McMahon Stadium in Calgary, I'll say.
Yeah, well, that one's older for sure. Worst stadium I've been to? That's a good question.
Honorable mention to Qualcomm down in San Diego for me. Just before they moved. It wasn't great.
No, it was not. I'd been to that one. Wasn't ideal. I went to old Oakland Stadium. That was tough. But I'm going to say it's the new stadiums have a lot of, they make it easier to move. It's almost like they put more emphasis on the concourse than they do the actual ice surface and where you're sitting and watching. So we have a grade that's a lot outwards now. So all your seats are farther away, but we've got bigger, more restaurants and more other things. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think a lot of the new rings is worsen the fan experience because you're farther away from the field of play. In hockey, anyway, the upgrades in the baseball stadium being pretty good, but they actually got smaller, right? The stadium got smaller as far as seats go.
Question 4. Vikings naming Kyler Murray as their starting quarterback this year. Assuming he stays healthy, what do you think the stat line looks like? Go touchdowns, interceptions, and yards.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be great, right? So I could cut now. First of all, he's going to stay healthy. That's probably going to be my main one for him. I'm not sold that this guy can be overly healthy. So I'll say passing yards 2,900. Touchdowns, oof. Maybe you can get to 21. And what was the other one?
Interceptions.
Oh, now how many interceptions did Kyler Murray throw last year?
When he plays at least 14 games, he's been double digits.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, but I don't think he's gonna play that many games, so I'll say 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna base it hoping that he can stay healthy because I don't like the alternative for the Minnesota Vikings. If he stays healthy, I'm not going to put him over 4,000. He's never done that in his career for passing yards. So I'll put him around 3,800. Touchdowns, I'm going to go a little higher. Not a career high, but 25 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions. I don't think they'll take the interceptions out of his game, but I think he'll throw 25 touchdowns. He's got such good receivers if he stays healthy. Final question for you today. It is National Mountain Day. So in honor of that, what's the favorite mountain range you've been to and one you would like to see in your lifetime?
Go ahead.
Well, favorite for me, I mean, the Rockies here in Canada. Those are the ones that are the best. Love going out to Jasper, Banff. Just beautiful. I leave and I always say I should do it a little bit more. And I think one I'd like to see, I think like the Swiss Alps would be pretty cool. You know, I'm not a big skier, but you know, get out there and give it a go. They look pretty beautiful, like the villages you see out in Switzerland. So I'll go with that.
Oh God. So I've never skied in like a European ski place. You know, in the Alps, pick a hill. Right. I have no idea. Pick a resort in the Alps would be fantastic. As far as favorite that I've gone to, probably it's just going to be memories. I'm going to go Sunshine. Right. I've just had a lot of fun times there. I know a lot of people like Marmot better, depending on it. But for me, it was Sunshine, the ski out. We had some unreal memories of that. So I'll go there for my favorite resort. But you know, it's on the bucket list. We have a plan to go to Europe. We got some friends who are, I've been listening to their stories of their skiing and places to go. And I've been taking little notes. So when we do go, I'm like, hey, for this place, and this place, let's get to one. Because man, I've researched, and you just like the amount of snow they get. Like, did you know? Like, what about Chile right now? Chile has their base is something ridiculous right now. It's just endless amount of snow. And the crazy part is, right now in the Alps cons, they're not getting a lot of snow. It's freakish, but Chile is just getting pounded by it. And so, who'd have thought that Chile would be a place to go for? I guess they got some unbelievable skiing there. So I learned that over the weekend from my ski buddy, Sean. So yeah, there's lots of places to look at and go to. So for sure, like I know, hey, I'm not Joe Skier. So I know there's lots of people out there that are skiing. Hey, you're a much more refined skier than I am, and probably have way better places than that. But I don't mind Sunshine. So. But I'd like to try other ones for sure. So I don't really remember, but I skied once in. I remember, but I don't remember like a lot of the details of it. But I do remember as a kid, and we skied. We went to Soyuz and skied. Buddy, we had a great time there. It was awesome. So I remember when I see my dad skiing in jeans, because he obviously didn't know how to ski, and but he didn't care. And I just remember him come flying down the hill, not knowing how to stop, and just having to, you know, crash before he smacked into the chalet. See, those are things as a kid that you remember. Oh, it was awesome. I have no idea what the name of the hill was. I just remember went and visited the Johns family in Osoyoos, and then we went skiing. So, and it was a pretty good ski hill. I remember as a kid, it was pretty, like they had multiple chairlifts, which at that time in my life, I'd never been in the mountains. So that was a big deal. So it was good. 5:04 coming up. We got KK filling in for Spec. We got Mike Hogan. We're going to get an early breakdown of the Argonauts who will be in town this week. Also, I didn't. Congrats to Peter. He was the winner earlier. He got a pair of seats to go see the Elks in the green and gold. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. If you're looking for an awesome deal, you have exactly 20 days left. Employee pricing ends for this summer, on August 31st. So stop in, get a great checkout. The Corvette showroom right now, northgategm.com.
Blue Jays just about to get going out in Toronto, hosting the Red Sox first pitch. 5:07 will join that game in progress following the Jason Gregor Show on our AM feed only. 2 games underway, Pirates and Marlins scoreless, as are the Tigers, Guardians. Cubbies trail the Nationals 2-0. Heading into the second later on tonight, White Sox, Reds, Phillies in St. Louis. The Diamondbacks host the Rockies. Brewers get the Padres, Athletics, Rays, and the Royals in Los Angeles taking on the Dodgers. From the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings announcing Kyler Murray will be quarterback one when the season starts over former first-round pick J.J. McCarthy. Murray signed a one-year deal with the Vikings this spring following his release from the Arizona Cardinals, and Bears safety Kobe Bryant will miss 4 to 6 months after undergoing knee surgery. In the WNBA tonight, Fever hosts the Liberty Mystics in Vegas, and the Sparks taking on the Mercury. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Kevin Carius in the Spec Report, and we'll head up to Toronto, talk some Argos with Mike Hogan. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild. Online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Thinking about switching vehicles? Think Subaru. The Subaru Crosstrek was named the 2026 Auto Trader Best Subcompact SUV. And once you drive it, you'll understand why. With impressive fuel efficiency, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, and generous ground clearance, the Crosstrek is ready for your Monday commute and your Saturday adventure. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.49%. So, before you decide your next SUV, come experience the Crosstrek for yourself. Visit your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Kickoff is coming August 15th. Elks, Argos at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Family Day presented by Goodwill Industries of Alberta. Youth 17 and under get in free for an early afternoon contest. Conditions apply. Tickets and info at goelks.com/tickets.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. How you doing? One batter, one strikeout for Dylan Cease. The K-Man off to a good start. Again, at least through one batter. It is the Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca. And hey, anytime Cease is pitching, there's a good chance there'll be some Ks for sure. You can get in on that action and much more. Playalberta.ca, casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instance, and more at playalberta.ca. The Jays obviously in a fierce battle for the playoffs. They're entering a 2-week stretch where it's Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, New York, and in the same time, Texas, the team, though the head team currently who owns the final wild card spot. They play the Angels, the Athletics, the Nationals, and the Angels. So the Jays are going to have to play great and hope that some of those underdogs can find a way to get some wins. So we'll see. Now, let's get to the Carius report, brought to you by GS Construction. And they are hiring. And, oh, buddy, you pipe layer, top man, great. Also, they're looking for a superintendent. I just want the title. Well, super, right? Just put it on your card. Super. Nothing else. Be unreal. So apply today, gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers. As Kevin Carius joins us. KK, how you doing?
Well, maybe I should look into that superintendent.
God, you'd love
thing.
it.
Hey,
Oh,
I like the title too, but I like Master Chief a little bit better. You know, that's
Master
just a little
Chief.
more. Yeah, Master Chief. You know,
Do any jobs have a Master Chief?
absolutely. Like think about GI Jane, SEAL training, all that. That's Master Chief, man.
All right. I didn't know that that was her title in that film. Okay.
Not hers. It would be the guy, Command Master Chief, the guy that put all those the soldiers through hell. That was the guy.
All right. Oh, jeez, that's you got to be a real hard ass. I don't know. You're kind of soft.
No.
You're a little softy. You'd be offering them tomatoes and other things like that. So I don't know.
No.
Well, you could be a Master Chief, just not a hard ass Master Chief.
No, I would be hard. But look, I mean, I got the cucumbers going behind me. They're at an all-time high. We're going to have some beautiful cukes here in the next few days. Can't wait.
Ooh, I do like fresh cucumbers are good. Nice. Now, what else you got in Carius Garden? What else is growing?
Swiss chard. We've got corn. We did all the peas. It was the best year for peas because of the rain. Lots of raspberries, lots of beets, lots of carrots, and potatoes.
So do you make mulligan stew with peas and carrots, potatoes?
Not really. We just eat the peas in the shell because that's the best tasting, and they're nice and raw. Sometimes I'll make them. My mom used to make. You actually boil the whole pod in water, and then you take the whole pea pod and you slip.
Yep.
Well, that's.
Growing up on the farm with the garden, like there was some days you just, you know what, you feel like a snack. You don't even have to walk in the house. You just walk out to the garden, pick a few carrots, go rinse them in the rain barrel. Oh, so good. Oh, and fresh peas, amazing. Obviously strawberries, we had raspberries. I have to say that outside of all the cows and everything else, the fresh garden is definitely one of the things that you miss from the farm for sure. So see how that goes. Now, we had Ed Hervey on the show earlier today and said that, you know what, hey, overall, he's really liked his defense, especially with some injuries. Feels his offense, he did, thankfully he addressed it and said, hey, our red zone offense has been a problem, but we feel that if we can get that sorted out here down the stretch in the second half of the season, we can be a really formidable opponent. And, the numbers back it up. I know that the players have tried to downplay, which I've never really understood. It was like the order players telling us all year, no, it doesn't matter. We haven't won 3 in a row till the end of the season. Yeah, you know what? We could never win 3 in a row and get some momentum. Of course it matters. So, the Elks, I think you hurt yourself trying to downplay it rather than say, you know what? Yeah, we're working on it. We need to be better. Nothing else.
Yeah, kind of what we were talking about yesterday, Griggs, in our first hit of the week. And I look at it this way. Wouldn't you rather have look at it this way? Wouldn't you rather be having the opportunities to be in the red zone as compared to not moving the ball? So, like, use the hockey analogy. If the Oilers didn't have any chances to score, now the concern level is a lot higher when you just compare it to saying, well, you got to finish on those chances. So, the Double E, they're moving the ball. They just have to capitalize on their opportunities once they get down there.
Yeah. Well, that's, to me, it's a little bit, play calling would probably be my biggest area of concern because I don't see a lot of massive, like there's been the odd drop, but I think it's more play calling that's been my concern. What about you?
And again, that's something we discussed yesterday, and I was talking about it with Tommy this morning too. Is it sometimes you're doing what the defense gives you. And that's when we were talking about yesterday with Justin Rankin with, not having enough touches. He's your play maker. So he has to see more opportunities. I think that's going to work itself out. And I think because he had such massive success for the first few games of the season, I really believe that all the teams said, okay, we're going to game plan so this guy doesn't beat us. If someone else beats us, fine. But we can't have a guy racking up triple digits in both receiving yards and rushing yards. So I think that the teams that they've been squaring off with have made a very big effort to stop Rankin and go, if someone else beats us, okay. So I think that'll just work itself out as the year progresses.
I know, what was your take watching the Jays game and the 17-minute delay on the rule, which I understood the rule after they explained it properly. It was just clear that a lot of players didn't know the rule. That's why they left the field. Because if they knew the rule, they wouldn't have left the field. They just would have threw the ball to third base.
Yeah, well, I was, everyone was waiting for the explanation, and it started to come out. But I think everyone, even, between Schulman and everyone else on the broadcast, they were unaware of exactly what was going on as well. Like, to me, I think at some point here, the umpiring crew has to take a little bit of an initiative and say, okay, I see what the rule book states, but what are we going to do? Leave the defending team out on the field for 10, 12, 14 more minutes? Is that so? You're just going to wait and wait and wait? Everyone was coming off the field, so I understand that they're going by the rule book, but at some point, common sense has to come into play here. And you go, just because we didn't throw to third for the force out because the guy didn't tag, and then because that happened and there was no opportunity to appeal because our team left the field, the playing field, I think at some point common sense has to come into play here.
Well, yeah, maybe. Or, I guess they adjust the rule book, but it's such an infrequent thing, right? Like, I'll tell you right now, both Red Sox and Jays players, if that situation ever happens again, which it probably won't, but if it does, they'll be well aware of it.
The only guy that knew, Max Scherzer, this had happened before, and I don't recall watching a game ever that I've seen this, but Scherzer, it happened to him, and he was one of the guys that was quite, he was voicing his opinion and voicing his concern, but I think the way he was trying to explain it, and because of how ambiguous the situation was and the rule, I think that everyone was going like, well, I don't understand what you're saying here, Maxie. So, but it had happened to him before, and he said that after the game.
Yeah, no, and that's totally valid. But you look at the that was a huge win because Sonny Gray was 14-2, so that was a big win. And now you got Cease and Soriano the next two nights here. So clearly going into the game, Toronto has an advantage on the mound in both of those games.
And Cease has been so good the last two starts here. I mean, he's been almost unhittable, and if he can come up with a performance like he has in the last couple of starts, I think the Jays have a good opportunity here. I would expect nothing less than like a 2-1, 3-1 game, but what happens when you say that? It always turns out to be something different.
Yeah. So, okay. I don't know how close. Have you been following the scandal at Little League in the U.S. Because of course they're coming up to the Little League title, and you've got supposedly there's Tulsa National Little League did not play a challenger game this year, and now there's questions regarding whether the player would even qualify for the challenger program, which is players with disabilities. And so they put this in to try to encourage more kids to play. And they were falsifying documents claiming a kid was disabled when he really wasn't. These are kids that are like U11 and 10. Like the craziness in minor sports, like people are, hockey parents are the only ones crazy. Now, there's lots of really good ones, don't get me wrong. And I still believe the majority are really good. But my goodness, the level that the bad ones will go to try to win is unbelievable to me.
Well, think about in Little League years ago when they had, I think it was the kid from Mexico or somewhere in Latin America that was like 2 years older than everyone else when he faked his birth certificate. I mean, that's the level that Little League, this has been a tarnished and tainted tournament for a long time. And it's unfortunate because it's the kids that end up losing. And the kids are if you watch those games, they're so much fun to watch because the kids are so into it. and they're really damn good players for their age. But I think and again, it's the adults that are wrecking the situation and wrecking things for the kids. So I guess this would be another one. But that one, it makes me think about the one player that was, I think he was 2 years older than what he was that they said on his birth certificate.
Yeah, jeez, that is not ideal. When you spinning back, we had Kevin Woodley on, and we were talking about goaltenders. We got clarification on the e-bug rule, which, it's unique that the NHL is going to make it mandatory. Every team has to employ an e-bug, but if your team has 3 goalies, then your e-bug doesn't need to be at the rink that night because your third goalie can be used as the e-bug. We all know that it's an extremely rare situation that it happens. So some might say, it's an advantage if your team has 3 goalies. Well, it's only an advantage if you ever get to having 2 goalies injured in the same game. That's the only time it's an advantage. Because other times you'd argue that it's a guy you're paying way more than your e-bug, right? And he counts on your roster, whereas the e-bug doesn't count on your roster and he doesn't count on your salary cap. Granted, they're not going to pay the e-bug much, but would if they held a tryout, how many people do you think in Edmonton would go out to be the e-bug for the Edmonton owner?
I think you'd be looking back in the 70s when the Philadelphia Eagles, remember they had an open tryout. Dick Vermeil was there.
Yeah.
And there was an old, I don't know if you know the guy's name, but this was a legitimate player. It was Vince Papali. He actually made the team. He was a bartender in Philly. But I think you'd have a ton of guys. And I think there's a lot of guys that are just even around. I mean, you think about all the adult hockey leagues where the goaltenders, when you're playing Division 1, 2, 3, I think there's going to be several dozen goaltenders just in town that have the ability to apply for such a position for an e-bug. So I would say you're looking at like legitimate goaltenders, I'd say around town that could do that job, probably 4 dozen, call it 50, 60.
Oh, yeah. I think there's lots of guys. You played junior A, you might have played at university hockey, right? And even if you went and you played in the ECHL for a year, as long as you haven't played pro for 3 years and have never played more than 80 pro games, then you qualify for it. And I think there's lots of good goalies who, I've seen those goalies come out from Grant McEwen in practice, and could they be an e-bug? Yeah, for sure. Now, Kevin Woodley outlined it. He goes, it'll be a hard job. Like, it'd probably be a lot harder than people think. Like, getting put through the paces repeatedly. Trust me, there'll be a lot of headshots in practice, KK.
You're facing a lot of rubber. Those guys, and if you ask any goalie, think about when we had Grant Fuhr on the morning show there just for the first year. And what did he always say? Well, practicing is what kills the goaltenders. The games, there's nothing to it. That's why Grant was playing 70 games a year, because they laid off the gas with him in practice because he didn't have to be out there. So yeah, these guys, it's like an acquisition that it's a guy that, if he gets hurt, it doesn't matter. If he gets pounded, it doesn't matter. We'll just get another one in there. So, but if you look at the practices, that's where the grind is for a lot of these goalies. That's what you see in the playoffs. If you got a goalie that's going hot for, whatever 4, 5, 6 weeks, he doesn't practice at all. And that's the way it should be. I think the goalies, and I think that the goalie workload can be higher. I'm a firm believer that if you don't run your goalies down in practice on a daily basis, you can get another dozen games out of a starter and get him into the upper 50s, into up to 60 games. I don't see that being a problem. It's just when they just blast them in practice every day. That's the thing. That's the thing that wears them out.
Well, you get way more shots in practice than you do in a game. Right? Especially now, like goalies aren't even averaging 30 shots against anymore because the rules and everything else, which is fine. And out of those 30 shots, like how many of them are that? Rarely is a guy walking down the pipe, ripping one untouched for 15 feet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that never happens.
To me, if you lessen the workload for your goaltender in practice, you're going to see guys that have the ability to play. Like, again, even think back when Fuhr was doing that. They were flying commercially. There were so many other things. They had back-to-backs. He played back-to-back, but it's just how you handle your personnel on off days, I think, for goaltenders moving forward, where we can see possibly a goalie or 2 or 3 or 4 up his workload and get up to, a reasonable amount that he's a legitimate number 1 guy playing 60 games a year.
And any truth to the, are you and Eddie Steele making an appearance? The wrestling halftime show this weekend?
I haven't heard about it. Is that at Love Pro or what?
Well, no, there's Top Talent Wrestling will be there at halftime in Colombo.
So Eddie, is Eddie doing it?
I don't know if he is. I thought maybe, I just had some people text in that they thought, sometimes in those shows, they just pull out special appearances, right? So I thought the
one at the Oil Kings game, so that was enough for me.
I thought the Master Chief would come in for a special appearance.
Fine by me, Master Chief.
Bring some cucumbers. You could pull cucumbers out of your pants like Cuban Assassin and just throw them. That would be great.
Sounds good.
Awesome, KK. We'll talk to you more, buddy.
Thanks, Rick. Bye.
There you go. It's Kevin Karras filling in this week for Spec. When we come back, Mike Hogan is going to join us, give us an early rundown. Elks opponent this week is the Argonauts. We'll get a little kind of a midpoint of the season review. Why is Kelly throwing so many interceptions? That's my question. We'll get to that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Hurry in before these offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Hey, my name is Samantha. I work as an assembly technician for Ford of Canada. What I love about working at Ford is knowing I'm part of something I'm proud to stand behind. And when Ford does something like employee pricing, it makes me even prouder to work here. And that means you pay what I pay.
Ford employee pricing is on now. On select 2026 F-150 models, get over $13,600 in total price adjustments. For details, visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary location.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:29. We roll through Tuesday afternoon. How you doing? The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight Lotto Max $30 million. Ooh, that could be good. Help you out, 30 mil or 30 prizes of $100,000. Could all use 100K. Fill the pocket, get your tickets at playalberta.ca. So there you go. Time now to get to our CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. The longtime voice of the Toronto Argonauts, of course, longtime reporter of the CFL, Mike Hogan, joins us. Hoagie, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, but you don't phone, you don't write.
Hey, man. I know. I've been, been busy. Well, you're a pretty busy dude. And hey, the Argonauts are finally at home. You've been on the road the whole time. So they finally get it home. Your chance to see the 15-yard end zone up close. What'd you think?
Well, it's not 15 yards, and it's always been the same size since the Argos moved into BMO Field.
Well, I thought they said they changed it for the last game because they got those new suites.
No, that's what somebody was saying, but they were not accurate.
Oh, okay.
When they built the stadium, it had to fit a CFL field. That was part of the parameters.
Yeah.
The mayor at the time didn't like the CFL. So the story goes that he had it built to exactly 110 and 20 and 20, 150 yards with no end zone buffer. So for safety reasons, they needed 2 or 3 yards to put padding up and make sure everybody was safe. So the end zones haven't changed since BMO opened in 2016.
So the new suites that they put in, are they just closer to the end zone then?
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah. There were no suites in the end zone, and they're basically built at the front where people could stand and watch the game before.
Oh, okay.
They took the scoreboard out of there and put up suites. So, yeah, it's always been like that. And Montreal's always had the shorter end zones too in the corners, right? Because they got the track. It used to be like that in Commonwealth way back in the day when they had the 25-yard end zone. So, it's a CFL. It's quirky, and that's why we love it.
So next year, obviously, it'll be they'll move it to closer. But I'm looking at the Argonauts, and they made it kind of a tough team to read, Mike, at times, because man, they're high-powered offense, and Chad Kelly can exploit you and throw lots of touchdowns. But then they'll turn around and they throw a lot of picks. Like it's rare to win a game when you throw 4 interceptions, but that's what happened last week for the Argos. So I want to start with what's with all the interceptions? Like, are there a lot of tips and deflections, bad routes, or is he just is he a real risk taker this year?
Yes, and yes, probably. I'm not sitting in on film, so I'm not privy to exactly what happens on a pick. There was one last week in particular that I have no idea if it was thrown to the wrong place, if the receiver ran the route, or 2 receivers ran the wrong route, but it was really nowhere near anybody. It was kind of between 2 receivers. So one would think that it was one of the guys ran the wrong route, but I'm not going to sit here and say I know for sure. I think there are times where Chad knows what kind of weapon he has attached to his shoulder. It's a real rocket launcher, and I think sometimes, he tries to make throws that maybe he shouldn't. He's always been a high-risk guy, high-risk, high-reward, and, he had cut down on those where he had 1 interception in 2 games and half of a game because he was injured just before halftime in BC. So, you kind of hope that he had taken that down and they had sorted things out, and then he threw 4 last week. 2 of the games this year he's thrown 4 picks in, and the Argos won both games. So there's that, but it's not exactly the way you want to go out and win a game. You cut down on those turnovers, and they probably blow Calgary out of the barn last week.
Yeah. So Argos come in here. Tell me about their defense, the strength of it. How do you see them attacking the offense of the Elks?
They were really not good against the pass for the beginning of the season. And then a couple of things have happened in the last 2 or 3 games that's really improved things. One is Sean Lemon is back, and he has 3 sacks in 2 games, and he's kind of revitalized that pass rush. And also maybe a bigger addition is Bubba Bolden, who was let go by Montreal, and the Argos were salivating. He and Greg Quick were together in Montreal last year. Greg, now the defensive coordinator here in Toronto. And he seemed to be like a gift from above, because when they were getting beat, there seemed to be some problems at safety. And there's kind of been a revolving door. Robert Priester was there. He got hurt. Ethan John was in there. He got hurt. He's a rookie, probably not ready to start yet. And then Bolden was dropped into their laps, and he signed like within an hour after being released. And, he's big, he's physical, he's fast. He's like just exactly what the doctor ordered. So they're very stout against the run. I did some math today, so this is probably wrong. But I added up the starting running backs because I don't know if it's gotten around the league yet, but you have a pretty good one in Edmonton.
Yeah.
But nobody's really had that game against the Argos. So through 8 games, basically half the season, opposing starting running backs are averaging 4.4 a carry, 52 a game, and have only scored 1 touchdown against the Argos all year.
Okay.
The only guy that really lit them up on the ground was Trey Ford. He ran for 100 plus against them, just kind of ran wild. But when it comes to starting running backs, they've done a really nice job containing. Couple guys that should be pointed out here because defensive tackles never get pointed out. But Ralph Hawley has been stupidly good on the inside. And there's a rookie named Sawani Kawia, Tongan, who is just strong as a bull and quick, and they've really shut things down in the middle. So that's probably been, I don't know if that's the strength of the defense, but the front seven's been really good. The problems were on the back end, and they seem to be sorting that out.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question then. So if you're the Elks, you want to pass the ball, which because last week, for whatever reason, even though Rankin was averaging 8.9 yards a carry, they only gave him the ball 7 times. It was odd to me. And so they wanted to pass it a lot. And right now, the pass defense of the Argos would be the bigger weakness than the run defense, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's fair to say, but it's cleaning up, right? I mean, last week, big play VA wasn't big play VA. He was little play VA. The Calgary lines and on both sides of the ball, and with good reason, have been very, much touted. In the 2 games against Calgary this year, so we're done with them. The Argos out-sacked them 5-3, including 4-2 last week. So they were getting home against a very good defensive line and keeping a very good defensive line at bay. So, it's things were kind of shaky at the beginning of the season, but with a new DC and finally starting to get the right part in the right place, I think the defense is starting to come around. And have given up the 2 offensive touchdowns they've given up in the last 2 games total. One was a 3-yard drive after a fumble, and one was a legitimate drive. So I think they've given up basically, 1 offensive touchdown in 2 games, which ain't bad.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that at all. So, you look at it like they got Rankin, Cody Fajardo's pretty accurate. They've been good. The red zone's been their problem for the offense. They can move the ball up and down the field, and then they get to the red zone, and it seems to be stall out city. Now, defensively, the Elks defense has been good. Last week was, they kind of got torched by the best offense in the league in Montreal. And, I'm not sure that's there, but I think Chad Kelly, when I watch all the Argo games I've watched, man, they air the ball out a lot. They don't really run the ball, Mike, at all. Like they just say, hey, we're a passing offense. Deal with it.
Yeah, and what they do is they've been able to hit on some of those runs. I mean, Sam Hicks had a 61-yarder for a touchdown last week, had a 40-yarder for a touchdown. So he's done it in a little fewer and farther between than Rankin did. But, at the beginning of the season, there was Rankin there. You knew once a game you were going to get that. And they're coming close to that with Hicks. But you're right. I mean, this is a pass-first offense. 4 of the receivers right now are on pace for 1,000 yards. He really spreads it around. And the other is a rookie named Tyler Common, who has 5 touchdown catches. So they like to spread it around. Hicks can catch it out of the backfield. But yeah, they have the most passing yards per game in the league, and there's a reason for that. They just love to air it out.
So, is there do they attack certain are there certain favorite routes that Coxie and others are running? What do you think Elks fans who are going to the game got to watch for?
Coxie's kind of all over the place. He runs drag routes, posts, sidelines. He's really effective on the deep ball. And he's gotten even better this year at yards after catch. He was kind of that guy who would make the big catch and kind of be tackled immediately. And now he's shaking defenders, which is just another kind of, weapon in the arsenal. He's been really good at that. Kelly, the one thing that I like about this offense is most times there's not a primary receiver. It's, okay, here's the play. I'm going to look over what kind of matchups do we have. Oh, I like that one. He's going to be primary this time, which a lot of quarterbacks are going to check into. But I think Kelly, for the most part, just looks up there, looks at matchups and goes, okay, let's see if this works. And sometimes that problem, that's part of the problem. He probably gets into trouble sometimes is he doesn't read the right matchup, or, something goes wrong there in the pre-snap diagnosis. But, this is a team that just throws 5 guys out there and says, okay, you can't cover all 5 of us. Let's see what you got.
Mike Hogan joins us, a longtime reporter and voice now of the Toronto Argonauts. Mike,
stop calling me old.
Davis Alexander, he got a lot of experience. Davis Alexander's on pace for over 6,000 passing yards. You've got 5 other quarterbacks on pace for over 4,800 passing yards. Like this has been one of the most entertaining seasons that I can think of in a long, long time. There's a lot of people that, the 35-second clocks. No, the 35-second clock has made the game better.
Yeah, no question. You're getting there was nothing worse than watching the referees have the game clock rolling, but holding the 20-second clock.
Yes.
And I use this term affectionately, fat guys waddle in from the sideline. They make the late switch to get the offensive or defensive line switched, and that you're getting 45, 50, sometimes almost a minute off the clock on one play because late substitutions. And there were coaches in this league who were masters of doing that. O'Shea was just brilliant. I mean, he would milk a clock for every second it was worth. Excuse me. And they had to do something, and this is a way to do that. And if you're going to take your time now with the benches being on the on opposite sides, you can kind of cheat with your big guys. So if you need that substitution, you can have those guys a little bit closer to the action. And they're going to have to be if they're going to get out there and get the next play in without taking a delay. I think it's been great.
Oh God, man, I love it. And like next year, obviously some different rules, and you know what, we'll see for sure if they all end up being great or not. But the early on, like the rule changes have helped. I think they're speeding up the game. You've got more. I think next year, I know a lot of people think, it's going to lead to way more field goal attempts. I'm like, I think we're just going to see teams gambling on 3rd and short more often.
Yep. And it eliminates what happened in the Edmonton-Toronto game last year with the benches on the same side when Dinwiddie went after somebody and kind of trash talked them after the game was over because he was getting heckled the entire night. So, you take that out of play where you can have those post-game skirmishes when they're right side by side. So that's worked out. That's another kind of, I think, added bonus to the benches going on either sides.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Lastly, Mike, when you look at how healthy is Toronto right now overall?
Pretty good. I mean, they had some problems. They lost a couple of defensive ends in back-to-back games and then went, okay, what's Sean Lemon's phone number? And he's come in and surprised. That's been the big one, really, has been the defensive ends. Other than that, it's pretty good right now, touch wood. And a couple of long-term ones, Robert Priester tore his Achilles a couple of games in. So, they've been able to replace him and did with Bolden. So, relatively speaking, touch wood, this is a pretty healthy unit.
Mike, great to catch up with you, buddy. We'll see you at the stadium this weekend.
Will do. See you, pal.
There you go. That's Mike Hogan joining us from Toronto. A quick final break. We'll come back, wrap things up. Gregor, Halley, Kruger, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Ford employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jay's game, you can listen to it at the conclusion of our show in about 12 minutes' time as they are taking on Boston. It is 1-0 Boston right now going into the bottom of the third. Now, I know we were on live, but I thought Cease walked a guy, but the fourth ball would have been a strike if Kirk challenged it. But he didn't challenge it. They just called the ball, even though it was clearly a strike. So there you have it. And then that ended up coming around and scoring the only run of the game. Hey, Greg, regarding the Double E red zone, they don't have anyone who can do Tommy Stevens' thing. That's a big problem. If you had someone like it, it'd be a big asset. Even on 3rd and short, we're having lots of problems getting the yards we need. Well, I look at their red zone play. Like, I know they didn't gamble on 3rd and 1, but I don't see a lot of their red zone coming down to them not being able to rush for a yard. Right? Stevens is a unique player for sure, but teams have had good, like the Elks get to the red zone a lot. That would be nice at times, but I don't know, Cons, do you think that Tommy Stevens would solve all the problems of the red zone for the Elks?
No, I mean, catching the football at times would help them. Not getting blown up in the backfield would help them. Tommy Stevens is a good football player, right? Like, yeah, I mean, having him certainly doesn't hurt, especially you've seen what they've done on 3rd and short occasionally. When Fajardo comes out of the lineup, was it twice they got stopped against the Rough Riders a couple games ago? So, yeah, I mean, certainly having a guy who's able to do that efficiently would not hurt, but I don't think it's the biggest problem.
No, I don't think so. I think it's now they need to look at just, I think different play calling is the main thing that has to change for them. I find too often running on 1st down in the red zone has been their biggest weakness that I've seen in the red zone for me. So we'll see where that goes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We talked earlier about players having one really down year because that's what Vladdy Guerrero's having right now. Like, it's not even close to where he normally is at. And then does he bounce back? Or is this slowly a trend? You'd sure like to think not, but last year, now he trended down in the regular season, then he got red hot in the playoffs. So I don't think you can just find your swing, right? Like the swing's there. He's just not right now using it properly. And it'll come down to, I honestly believe it's going to come down to his willingness, Connor, to accept that he has to change his approach at the plate. I shouldn't say his approach, but he's going to have to change swing mechanics. He's got to change something because you can't just go like and suddenly be someone who can't hit because he's got no loft. He's got no power. He pounds the ball into the ground way too often. So to me, it's got to be a technical change to his game. Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I always hear, well, they fall back on what Pete Rose said about don't change your swing. That's what got you there. Move up in the box, move back, move closer, things of that sort of thing. Has he done those types of things, right? Like find different ways to try to get it working again, because this whole season, like we've talked about how he can be a streaky player and it's going to get going eventually. Well, it doesn't look like it is. It doesn't look like that is going to happen. So what kind of changes are you going to do? What can you change mid-season? Are you too stubborn to do those things? Are you just going to try to work your way out of it? I really don't know. And maybe that's something we'd have to get someone on that, could analyze the swing and what he's been doing, things of that sort. But I mean, Pete Rose, he had his 6 adjustment: move in, move out, move closer, move further away, choke up, switch back way. Those are his things. So maybe try those.
Yeah, there's there are sometimes, you know what? Kind of keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't have to be a massive change, but it needs to be a change.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't keep doing what you're doing. That's what we know.
Yeah, it is you're just kind of beating your trying to hammer that square peg into the round hole. It's not working right now. Clearly not working at all. Tomorrow on the show, Struddy's going to join us. We'll hear from Iram Chuck. We're also going to have a little fun What If Wednesday segment for you with some interaction from the audience. So we'll get to that. We'll also get a better read tomorrow. Who's going to fill in for Kenny Logan Jr.? We know he's out. He's not playing this week. He's not going to play the following week. They're hoping that he can return for Labor Day, and then we'll kind of see where they go from there. But are they going to move? KJ, what's your guess, boys? Deck. Comment. Let me know what you think. Yes.
Just a question: is it the same injury that he suffered last Saturday?
That I don't know 100%.
I'd be curious if that played into it, because he didn't practice all week, and I watched him at the game out. He didn't get back in towards the end. He might have for a few snaps. I was surprised. I know, Deck, who are you thinking replacement for Kenny Logan?
Ladarius Tennyson.
That's your guy, right?
That is my guy. A little bit of bias there, but he's been brought up to the active game day roster to be the backup Sam before. So if there was ever a time, and it's not going to be KJ coming down, it's now.
Oh, okay.
You watched him camp. I'm gonna go. I want to roll with you here. I want to see what the excitement's all about here. He's got you fired up. I'd like to see it. Has anyone stood out to you, Gregor, or at least who you've seen slide in maybe with the twos or anything?
Well, KJ would probably be my my first choice, but when you listen to Ed Hervey, and I was listening carefully, I'm like, I think we're going to see different guys get reps there tomorrow, right? Just to see, can Blackburn? No, not Blackburn. He won't do it. Leonard Johnson, I don't think is a guy that they would put in that spot. For me, anyway, I would be a little surprised by that. So, I like. Could Mogensen do it? Maybe, but I don't love that option. I think they've got the guy is Therese Reed. That's my guess. Therese Reed. Connor Halley. That's who I'm saying. Number 41. That's who I think is going to do it. So we will find out tomorrow. Have yourselves a great evening, everyone. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property service you can feel good about. Get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Check out hiregood.ca. Stable jobs, great stable lives at Hire Good.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Toronto Blue Jays in action right now. Bottom of the third, trailing the Red Sox 1-0. Runners on first and second. 2 out. We'll join that game in progress following the upcoming commercial break. Elsewhere, Mariners, Yankees scoreless. Cubbies on top of the Nationals 4-3. Marlins up on the Pirates 1-0. Tigers, Guardians tied at 1 apiece. So the Twins at home trail the Orioles 2-0. In the bottom of the first there tonight, Rangers take on the Angels. Diamondbacks up against the Rockies. Brewers in San Diego. Giants taking on the Astros and the Royals in Los Angeles. Looks like the Jays going to even this one up at 1 apiece right now. From the NFL, Minnesota Vikings announced that Kyler Murray will be QB1 when the season starts, and Bears safety Kobe Bryant will miss the next 4 to 6 months after undergoing knee surgery. In the WNBA, one game right now. Fever lead the Liberty 29-23 in the second. Later tonight, Aces host the Mystics while the Mercury head to Los Angeles. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next on the AM feed, it is Blue Jays baseball. If you're streaming, Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
With Sports 14.